It's been a very special week for baseball in the big town. Home Run Derby, All-Star Game, all that behind New York now. And Flushing returns to a sense of normalcy. The Mets are back in town, all of them getting set for the second half of the season. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Philadelphia Phillies. Friday Night Baseball is presented by Time Warner Cable. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. I'm Gary Cohen. Keith Hernandez and Ron Darling will join me in just a moment as the Mets open a three-game series with the Phillies to begin the second half of the season. The Mets finished very strong in the first half, won 17 of the last 28 games, and they'll try and keep the good times rolling after a very successful All-Star game here at Citi Field this week. Down on the field, Kevin Burkhardt is standing by with Mets manager Terry Collins to get a preview of what's coming up for the Mets in this second half. His report is brought to you by Time Warner Cable. Kevin?
Gary, thanks. Terry, first of all, you're on the bench for the All-Star game. What stood out about that experience here in New York?
Well, the tremendous passion of the fans. I mean, it was a great event for, all of New York and certainly our Mets fans. And, I thought the ovation that Harv and David got, and even myself, was really, really special.
Give me two must-haves for this team to have a real good second half the whole way here.
Well, it's going to start with, obviously, there's a lot of pressure on Ike. We got to get Ike to have a similar second half he had last year. He's a production guy, Kevin, and he's got to be a main part of our offense. And then the second thing is we got to continue to pitch as well as we did in the first half.
Starting pitching has been key in this run. The last 3 weeks, you guys have been terrific. Jeremy Hefner tonight talked about his mechanical changes. What have you seen other than that that made him so successful these last 9 starts?
I'll tell you what I've seen is he's using both halves of the plate much better. One of the things he's really done, he's learned how to pitch inside and pitch inside effectively, which sets up, 85% of the pitches are on the outside part of the plate anyway. So if you know how you can pitch inside and even throw some strikes in there once in a while, you're going to get them to swing at some off-speed stuff off out of the zone.
Terry, good luck the second half.
Kevin.
Manager Terry Collins, Gary, he's ready. Let's go back up to you.
All right, thanks very much, Kevin. And Keith, you heard Terry talk about Ike Davis. How do you see this whole thing playing out?
Well, I think it's one of the things I'll look for, and that is obviously, it's the obvious. It's Ike Davis. He's got the biggest resume. He's the one with the 32 home runs last season. He's struggled. It impacts a lot of the players, Gary. You got Josh Satin, who's opened up a lot of eyeballs with his hitting this year. And also it impacts, if Ike hits, Duda goes into left field. And then what does that do to Neuenhuis and Lagares? Well, all three of them are itching to play. So we'll see how it evolves. Ike's got around 2 weeks to get it in gear. We'll see if the 4-day All-Star break gave him the rest he needed, and he gets going forward.
And there's no question that the pitching has taken a turn for the better, and Dylan G and Jeremy Hefner have been a big part of that.
One found his form. Dylan G, after that scary artery injury from last season, refound who he was when he was a rookie and won 13 ball games. And the other one had to find his form. Jeremy Hefner had such a tough go of it at the beginning of the season that he had to scrap plan A, went to plan B, went to Dan Worth, and they said, hey, listen, let's scrap the old way of doing things. Let's do some new things. He added a little velocity to his fastball, and it's changed his entire season. Best ERA in the major leagues since June 4th.
And Hefner will try and keep it going tonight against a team that's given him trouble, the Phillies. Mets and Phils from Citi Field. All the action coming your way tonight right here on SNY. devices in the house than anyone else. Call 1-800-TW-CABLE. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy sports better. By Cholula Hot Sauce, the hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap, available in original flavor, chili lime, chili garlic, and chipotle. By 5-Hour Energy Shots. By State Farm. Tonight's State Farm agent of the day is John Garfinkel of Brooklyn. Contact John's office at johngarfinkel.com. And by Grinds Coffee Pouches. Get the product the players use and visit getgrinds.com today. MLB.com At Bat is celebrating 5 years as your #1 mobile app for live baseball, available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Mets baseball with live audio, stats, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Mets.com for details. Hot night in New York, 95 degrees as we approach game time. Heat index is over 100. Keep hydrated and come on back. First pitch is next. In many ways, all the attention paid to Matt Harvey and then Zach Wheeler has allowed Jeremy Hefner to fly under the radar the last 7 weeks. But over his last 8 starts, nobody in the major leagues has a better earned run average than Jeremy Hefner.
You know, when you think about it, 4-1 in his last 10, Gary, probably should be much better than that. He's got 9 unearned runs he's given up, so the defense at times has been lacking. But he's established himself a little more velocity as one of the go-to guys in the Mets every 5th day.
Well, it's a Hyundai starting lineup for the Phillies. Ryan Howard out after knee surgery. Ben Revere out with a broken foot he suffered last weekend. And so the Phillies having to patch things together. Young Darren Ruff is now their everyday first baseman. John Mayberry, for the moment, is their everyday center fielder, although Ruben Amaro, their GM, has talked about making a move to acquire a center fielder. The Phillies right at 500 at the All-Star break. They've won 9 of their last 13 to get to 500 for just the first time since June the 7th.
Well, you'll see Hefner's numbers. 4-6 record does not indicate how well he has pitched since June 4th. Remember that start in Yankee Stadium where he did an unbelievable job of pitching inside. He's been a strike thrower since. Jaguar numbers for Hefner.
And the Lexus Metropolitan defense. Well, Murph, you can always count on him. There's always some players that you come to the clubhouse and you just don't know if you can put his name up on the lineup. Well, with Murph, you know every day he comes to the park, he's ready to play. He's at second base right there. Young out in left. There's Daniel, got a haircut.
Haircut, and he's got the pants pulled up, showing some sock, Keith.
How about that?
Well, there's Charlie Manuel, and it's been kind of traditional for Manuel since taking over as the manager of the Phillies in 2005 for the Phillies to outperform their first half in the second half. In fact, their winning percentage under Manuel in the second half of the season is .610. Never better exemplified than in 2010 when they were in pretty much the same spot they're in right now. They were 2 games over 500 and 7 games out of first, and they went 48-19 the rest of the way, won 97 games and won the division.
But really their next 10 to 15 games are going to let them know if they are in it or out.
Well, this road trip that starts tonight in New York then takes the Phillies to St. Louis and to Detroit to play 2 of the best teams in baseball. So by the end of the trip, they should have a pretty good sense of exactly who they are.
Everybody's got about 70 games left in the season. Terry Collins, a masterful job getting what he got from this ball club in the first half.
Terry was asked today whether getting to 500 by the end of the year would be an accomplishment. He said yes, but we want more than that.
Yeah, there was a caveat to that, right?
Jimmy Rollins will lead things off for the Phillies. Rollins' power has disappeared this year, just 4 home runs and 365 at bats, and he takes the first pitch strike from Hefner.
Well, Rollins has always been a Met killer over his career. Big hits, 111 RBIs.
And he lines one into center field, and Rollins has himself a leadoff hit. So able to get the changeup and line it into center, and so the Phillies have a leadoff base runner against Hefner, who's had a lot of problems against the Phillies in his career.
High changeup here, overthrew it just a bit. Good location outside, but up enough for Jimmy to just stroke it to center field.
Well, he kept his weight back, has to let go with one hand. Let go. Don't prove me wrong. There you go. nice hitting.
You haven't been proven wrong yet. Here's Michael Young hitting second in the order. Young's given the Mets fits this year in his first year in Philadelphia, hitting .429 against Met pitching. The Phillies have won 6 of 9 from the Mets this year, and Hefner has had his particular problems against the Phillies. Remember last year he had the start against the Phils where he didn't retire a batter and gave up 7 runs. Then he had one earlier this season in early April where he lasted just 3 innings and gave up 5 more runs.
You know, Gary, a couple of lessons learned. I talked to Jeremy Hefner about that, and he said, you know, getting knocked out of the box so early, I had to realize I am the kind of pitcher that has to have all 4 of them working from the start.
Jay Zudley waits on deck. Well, Hefner's last start was last Friday in Pittsburgh. Went 7 innings, allowed 2 runs, 3 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Pulled for a pinch hitter in a tie game after 7. After throwing to 78 pitches in that game, and he gets ahead on Young 1-2. So he's had a full week off since his last start. And you see those rather ugly career numbers against Philadelphia. He did beat them the last time he faced them, June 21st. Gave up 10 hits in 6 innings, but only 2 earned runs. 1-2 to Young. Rollins 9 steals, but he's been caught 7 times, not the base stealer he once was.
One thing you're going to have to do with Rollins and keeping him close, change how quick you go to the plate. And if you're going to face Michael Young with 2 strikes, you're going to have to pound him in. Very easy for him to go the other way.
He taps 1 foul.
Well, part of the reason for Jeremy's success, Ron, you mentioned in the open when he was taking the mound, was number 1, his increase in velocity. But from what I've seen, he's been pitching inside effectively to both left and right hand hitters with that fastball.
So you have better deception, change in velocity, a different style in terms of pitching inside. It's all factored into Hefner's success.
If you pitch inside, then the pitches away they'll swing at, and the pitches that you make a mistake with, they might not always put them in play.
Well, the one thing as a hitter, Gary, that I always looked for was a lot of pitchers try to throw inside, more so when I played. But can they throw inside? A lot of guys try to, but can't throw the strike. Jeremy's been throwing the strike inside.
One and two to Michael Young. And he got him. Hefner has his first out of the night, striking out Young with a slider.
A good slider here. He pitched him away the entire at bat. Appearance of a strike down the middle. And perfect down and away below the knees.
So 1 out and 1 on, and now Chase Utley. Utley at 272 for the year, 11 home runs. And, you know, I made the comment a moment ago about Rollins, not the base stealer he once was. Utley, not the hitter he once was. And that's really the recurrent theme with this Phillies team. And when you talk about their history and their propensity for playing well after the All-Star break, you have to ask the question, does this team still have enough stamina with all the age that they have to do that again?
Well, I think last year they won 44 games in the second half, 44 and 31. 44 this year gets them to 86 wins. That's not enough.
Utley hits it out to center field. Neuenhuis back. Well back to the warning track, and it's off the wall. Neuenhuis misjudged that ball. Rollins goes to third. He's being waved around. He'll come in and score. Utley all the way to third with a triple, and the Phillies have a 1-0 lead. Neuenhuis went back on that ball as though it was going to be easy, but it wound up hitting off the fence in center field for a triple and an RBI for Utley.
Well, there's no question that he misjudged the depth of this ball. And you'll see he doesn't really get on his horse. He thinks he's got it together, and all of a sudden, I'm running out of room.
The crack of the bat, you could tell that ball was hit solidly. And don't forget, over 100 degrees at game time, the ball will carry even here at Citi Field.
So Hefner in an early 1-0 hole. The first inning has been Hefner's most difficult all year long, and he gives up a quick one here. And now Dominic Brown, who's had a tremendous season so far, 23 home runs, third in the National League. He has certainly cooled down in the home run department significantly since he hit 11 home runs in a 15-game span late May, early June, but nonetheless, he has become a feared hitter.
He's only hit 4 home runs in his last 33 games, but the Phillies ever expect this kind of production from him?
Hit hard, and that's a base hit for Brown, and that'll bring home Utley. So the Phillies, 4 batters into the game, have a 2-0 lead.
Well, this is what I liked about Dominic Brown when he came up. Now, he had a long swing. He's, what, 23, 25 years old?
25, yeah.
And the Phillies had high hopes for him, and he's come around this season. And when he came up, he did. This is what I liked about him, his ability to go the opposite field. And then as you get older, you learn to pull. And he's in a beautiful park to play 81 games and hit home runs in. That's a bandbox down there at Citizens Bank Park down the interstate.
Now Darren Ruff, the big first baseman, and he takes outside. Ruff brought up when Ryan Howard went down with knee surgery. This is the 9th game he started. He had some time last year as well. Now what's interesting is the number in the middle at the bottom. 7 home runs in 82 games in AAA. This is a guy who had 38 home runs in AA last year in the Eastern League, where it's tough to hit home runs. Nice scoop by Buck, and it's 2-0.
Well, in talking to people that saw him in AAA, Gary, they were talking about how, as you see, Buck, nice block there, he was trying to become more of a complete hitter. Home run hitter who struck out a lot, did not hit for high average. He was trying to become one of those more complete hitters. It cost him in the home run department, but the 46 RBI is good.
Hefner behind 2-0, and he misses badly and falls behind 3-0 to Ruff. By the way, for Dominic Brown, that was his 68th run batted in. That equals the most that any Philly had all of last year. Carlos Ruiz led them with 68 RBIs. Brown has 68 now on July 19th. Here's a strike, 3-1.
Well, this is a Philly team that it's a little bit different now, but some of the veterans are here. They love to play here against the Mets and at Citi Field. They took the first series. There's a guy with a bounce-back season right there, Cliff Lee.
The unsmiling Cliff Lee.
Yes.
Did you see the All-Star Game announcements? It was when they introduced the teams. It was hilarious.
It was his talk to the hand moment for the Citi Field fans.
I mean, the National League team was being introduced, and as you would expect, the Met fans booed the Braves, and they booed the first Philly introduced, Dominic Brown. But each player, you know, stepped down and tipped their cap, and then they introduced Lee. Stoic. Didn't smile, didn't tip his cap, didn't move. Looped into shallow right center, and that'll fall for a base hit for Ruff. Brown, who was in motion, will go first to third, and the Phillies have put up 4 hits in this opening inning against Jeremy Hefner. Deja vu all over again for Jeremy.
Well, 3-2, and they're going to get Dan Warthen out there to have a little chat with Jeremy. And young Ruff getting a full count, and Charlie Manuel opting to send the runner. Make it happen. That's a hanging slider, Ronnie.
Well, it doesn't tell you a little more about Darren Ruff that on a 3-2 pitch to a power hitter who's been known to strike out a bit in the minor leagues that you can run him because he's going to make contact.
So things not starting well for Hefner after a terrific run of success leading up to the All-Star break. Has to reset now with runners at first and third and 1 out, and 2 runs already home. And Delman Young coming to the plate.
Pressure is on pitchers coming after the All-Star break. Sometimes your players can be a little sluggish. You cannot be as the starting pitcher. Sluggish so far for Hefner.
They're not letting him get his rhythm, that's for sure.
And Young takes a slider low and away. Delman Young, who began the year on the disabled list, has suddenly hit his stride, hitting .347 over his last 19 games. The lows never stop improving. See what Jeremy Hefner did in his 8 starts leading up to the All-Star break. But trouble has found him in the opening inning tonight.
Well, Dan Warthen had to tell him that he's given up almost all of his hits have been on fastballs. He's got to mix in his other pitches.
Oh, the hanger right there he got away with. It's ironic, Ronnie, the one out he got in this and in the strikeout was the one, not ironic, it was the good slider.
One pitch he hasn't thrown in this inning is his curveball. He's already 20 pitches deep in this opening inning. And on Delman Young, 1-2 with John Mayberry on deck. And there's the curveball, bounced slowly. Tough play for Wright, and he has no play. And a run comes in to make it 3-0. So he threw the curveball, got a good result in terms of a weak contact. But Young winds up with an infield hit, and Brown comes home with the 3rd run of the inning.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Great breaking pitch on the ground. Just a lunging swing. And once it gets past Hefner, Wright had to put it in his pocket.
So 3 runs are in, still only 1 out. And now the number 7 hitter, John Mayberry. Mayberry's taken over as the everyday center fielder for the moment, with Ben Revere having broken his foot. Revere fouled a ball off his foot and broke 2 bones and had to have surgery to insert a whole bunch of screws.
I remember that at bat. He broke his foot, stayed in the at bat, had a couple of more swings, and finally put it in play and ran down to first base.
Well, the Phillies are just a half game behind the Nationals, so that would be really stunning with the Nationals really having a sputtering first half.
Washington's beginning their second half tonight at home against the Dodgers. No score after 1. A ball to strike to Mayberry. And as you look at the standings in the National League East, the thing to keep in mind is that the top 3 teams in the Central have been so good that the likelihood is that there'll be only 1 postseason berth out of the National League East.
And out of the West also. All 3 are going to come. The division winner and 2 wild cards going to come out of that Central.
2 balls and a strike to Mayberry.
This looks like Jeremy Hefner in the first couple of starts, doesn't it? A guy who can't locate his breaking pitches, a little fearful of the strike zone, trying to pitch around and be extra careful. Not all that aggressiveness we've seen in the past couple of months.
Well, you talked about coming out of the All-Star break, Ronnie, and I remember a circumstance with John Maine a few years ago, where Maine had a good first half, and then as Mayberry screws himself into the ground, and came out in the second half and got lit up his first few starts, and it came to be known that he really hadn't done anything during the All-Star break to keep himself prepared, and that's going to be a challenge for pitchers, I would think, when they go home especially.
Well, absolutely unconscionable that during the break you should keep to your routine. Mayberry's foot slips out from under him, and that makes pretty mad as a pitcher.
Well, watch his back foot, folks, when he swings. He taps with the front foot, then watch his back foot lift and move. Usually you drive off the back foot. He didn't do it that time.
Full count to Mayberry. Hefner thought maybe he'd get that call.
Well, let's see. Mayberry's a guy that can strike out. Let's see if Charlie Manuel wants to put the guys in motion here. That missed inside.
Well, you got Ruff at second and Delman Young at first. Neither one can run a lick.
I just don't think he's going to put them in motion. Charlie, that is, Mr. Manuel.
Very nice of you to use the honorific.
He's close to 1,000 wins, is he not?
Hit toward the hole, a base hit. Ruff to third. He's being waved around. Eric Young's thrown to the plate. He'll cut off. And there are 4 runs home for the Phillies in the opening inning. Mayberry with an RBI single to bring home Ruff with the 4th run.
Well, the Phillies certainly Phillies are not showing any rust from the 4 days off. Right out of the chute.
I don't know if Charlie Manuel had a pregame speech, but he better bottled it, kept it forever.
Well, there's the swing, a little bit of the drop of the back foot right in the hole there. And getting very close. I think the Mets are finally getting someone up in that bullpen.
7 hitters have come to bat. 6 have reached base with a base hit. 4 have scored. Now the number 8 hitter, Carlos Ruiz. And Ruiz pops one up. Young coming in. And that's the second out of the inning. Well, they say as a pitcher you've always had a good day when you come to the plate before you ever throw a pitch.
Well, it is good to come to the plate before you're throwing a pitch, but there's a lot of work to go for Kendrick, although he is 3-0 in his last 3 starts against the Mets.
Greg Burke gets up in the Mets bullpen. By the way, the Mets did not make a player move today. It had been anticipated that maybe Justin Turner would be activated and the Mets would go back to 12 pitchers, but they've kept that 13th pitcher, and Turner will play 3 more rehab games over the weekend and probably be activated on Monday. That's feeling as though their bullpen was so heavily taxed going into the All-Star break, as Kendrick takes a strike. So it leaves them a little better prepared for the what you would have thought was an unlikely circumstance that Hefner gets knocked out of the box early.
I'd be a little careful here, though. Kendrick's a good hitting pitcher, although up a strike here is Hefner.
.30 pitches already for Hefner. Jimmy Rollins began it with a base hit. Utley hit a triple that Neuenhuis misjudged. He drove in a run. So did Brown. So did Young. So did Mayberry. 1-2 to Kendrick. And Rollins, who started the hole, McGill, is waiting on deck.
Good day to sweat. I used to like the heat. I tell you what, I played on AstroTurf. It was a little murderous in St. Louis on that turf, and in Cincinnati, old Cincinnati with the AstroTurf in Pittsburgh, when they just had the cutouts around the bases on AstroTurf. But the hotter the better. I loved it.
2 out, 2 on, 2-2 to Kendrick. And Hefner just cannot put this inning to bed.
Well, we mentioned about Mayberry and his back foot. Now, on the base hit here, watch his right back foot. Not as pronounced. Toe tap front. Look at that back foot. It's very unusual. Usually you drive off your back foot. How can you drive off your back foot when you're lifting it up? I wouldn't teach that.
Push me, pull you swing, stepping back.
Kendrick fouls off another one. Well, you better be awfully strong if you intend to drive the ball when you have no back leg.
It's all upper body swinging.
You know, I spent when Jeremy came out to the mound talking about his added velocity. I don't know if you noticed on that 2-2 fastball to Kendrick, 88 miles an hour. We're talking about 92, 93, 94 he's been throwing prior to the break.
Seventh pitch of the at bat to Kendrick, and he pulls one foul.
Ronnie, did you ever have a start the first game after an All-Star break?
Yeah, a couple.
Did you feel rusty?
I didn't feel rusty because I would do the same thing. Monday take off, Tuesday throw on the side, Wednesday take off, Thursday pitch in the game. So, you know, it's an all-star break, but you're still doing the work you have to do at least on the side.
Again, the 2-2, and he fouls off another one. So this is becoming more than laborious for Hefner in this opening inning. But, you know, Jeremy went home to Oklahoma, and he had a lot of good works to do there in terms of, you know, the aftermath of the tornadoes and all the devastation in his hometown there. And you just, you know, you wonder what his all-star break was like in terms of getting his work in.
Well, I think what happens, Gary, and I'm just speaking from experience, when a team has had your number over a long period of time, you get in that first inning and a couple of hits here and there, and you go, whoa. Then you got to fight it, but whoa, it's not this again. This is not happening again.
This will be the 10th pitch of the at bat to Kendrick, and the curveball finally gets him looking. And an ugly first inning for Jeremy Hefner finally comes to a close. Mets 4 runs in arrears as they come to bat at the bottom of the first. Lineup for the Mets. Eric Young has been the catalyst at the top of the order. He's reached base to start the first inning, 5 straight games. David Wright fresh off his all-star game celebration, and it really was all of that for David. Not just playing in the game and playing in the home run derby, but it was a David Wright tribute as much as anything.
It was almost a celebration on what a fine player he's been throughout his career. Kyle Kendrick, when he first came up to the major leagues, I thought he was rushed, but he did great in their championship season, and also Toyota numbers for Kyle Kendrick. he also, I think, has developed himself into a fine pitcher with a cutter, changeup, and he's now become a proven winner.
Yeah, well, the Phillies defense, we'll take a look, brought to you by Coors Light. And you'll see Ruff there taking over for the DL'd Ryan Howard, taking over that spot at first base.
Young leads off against Kendrick. Eric hitting .308 as a Met in 24 games, and has quickly established himself as a guy who will be very difficult to move out of the lineup, which goes to the point that Keith was making during our open tonight about Ike Davis and his need to get off to a strong start, and Lucas Duda, who may be back, within a couple of weeks, and how the Mets are going to shoehorn people back into roles after Young has come in and upset the apple cart since being brought over from Colorado.
Well, Josh Satin kind of upset the apple cart too with some brilliant play, some nice hitting. And Neuenhuis is playing better.
Probably the guy who we saw play the best over a period of time just can't smell the lineup again. Juan Lagares, because of the lack of left-handed starting pitching after the Mets went through a huge stretch.
Mets will face lefties the next 2 days. Not easy marks at all. With Cole Hamels and Cliff Lee facing the Mets.
No, he'll get his chance. I'm sure he's itching to get back in that lineup.
2-2 to Young, and one of the things that has been interesting over the last week has been that Young all of a sudden has been swinging the bat better left-handed. At first he was swinging very well right-handed and not so well left-handed.
Well, it's been his MO. He's never had a chance. I tell you what, Young is getting a little impatient. It's the second time he stepped out on Kendrick, working slow. It's the first time really in Young's career I think that he's got a chance to play every day.
Chopper down to first and a foul ball. Well, since the Mets got Eric Young a month ago, only 2 players in the National League have had more hits than E.Y. Jr., and I think that just about says it all. By the way, look at Hanley and what he's done since coming back.
Really?
And hardly a mention because of all the talk of Yasiel Puig.
Dodgers begin the second half 2.5 out of first place. 2-2 from Kendrick, and it's inside. And did it hit him? I guess it did.
Hit him on the elbow.
How does that happen? Goes to first base.
He didn't move.
So that's 6 straight games now where Young has gotten on base to lead off the first inning.
That's a take one for the team moment, if there ever was one.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you what, I bring him back.
The home plate umpire could have said that he made no effort to get out of the way.
He made every effort to get hit.
Yeah. That's Tim Timmons, the home plate umpire. No argument from the Phillies, but you could certainly make that case. So here's Murphy. He's got an 8-game hitting streak going. And it's one of those funny things in that he's hit in 8 straight games, but he really hasn't looked very good at the plate.
Well, over those 8 games, he's over 300, but he's been struggling a bit, particularly with men on base, Murph. But you know what? Murph's one of those guys that will always find a way to get a scratch a hit out. And his slumps are not prolonged.
There goes Young. The throw by Ruiz. Utley got to the bag late, and Young is safe. 17th stolen base for Eric Young.
Well, I think the Phillies kind of got caught flat-footed here, particularly Utley. Getting to the bag late. There's really no excuse for that. Murph is not a pull hitter. I think it was a 4-run lead, a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, the assumption that with the lead, no one was going to run for the Mets.
Well, that's what Young has been doing, getting on, stealing bases. Now he's in scoring position for Murphy with nobody out. And Murph hits one out to left field. Dominic Brown easing back.
Well, that's what's been tagging up Young. Very nice.
For third, and the throw by Brown comes in, and he just gets there safely. Very aggressive base running by Young, trying to make something happen. And a good throw by Brown, got there just a shade too late.
Oh, Brown got caught drifting. I think maybe took it for granted that, see, his momentum's going back. He's got to race back and get his momentum forward. And I just think that maybe he was caught by surprise. So the Phillies defensively so far, this bottom of the first, got to get the sleep out of their eyes.
Well, this is the first time the Mets and Phillies have played since the Mets got Eric Young. And so a Mets team that's been pretty plodding, was earlier in the year when the Mets and Phillies played all 9 of their games, has become something a little different now with Young. So here's David with the infield back, and an RBI opportunity. Takes low and away for ball 1.
It's important to note that Ike Davis is hitting in the 5-hole tonight. Byrd is in the on-deck circle hitting cleanup, and I agree.
David Wright 1 for 3 in the All-Star game on Tuesday night. Played the first 6 innings, and he pulls one just foul. Young able to do a dance and avoid getting hit. Tim Timmons, we've already seen the home plate umpire. First time we've seen Will Little, the first base umpire. He'll have the plate for Zach Wheeler start tomorrow. Mike Winters at second is the crew chief, and Mark Wegner works at third.
Never want to see 3 L's in a row if you're a pitcher, but Will Little, it works.
Here's what I think about that. If Homer Bailey can be a successful pitcher, then anything's possible.
You're right. You're right. Bob Walk.
Young at third and 1 out. David got to sleep on Wednesday. He had a whirlwind. There's no question about it. After getting back from Pittsburgh Sunday night, he did not have a moment to himself Monday or Tuesday between appearances and the home run derby and the All-Star game and the red carpet. And so when the Mets had a workout yesterday here at Citi Field, David was excused, and properly so. But you've been through that, Keith. When you've been through the grind of the All-Star game, and even more so for David, because he was the Mets ambassador as much as anything else, in addition to the captain of the home run derby team and starting third baseman. It's not really like an All-Star break, is it?
It's not, but it's far more involved today. There's so much more going on. I mean, the only obligations we had, Gary, and remember, it was only 3 days off. Would you play the Sunday game, get on an airplane, fly to the town? Monday would be a workout and a luncheon and basically a late afternoon luncheon. And it was always great to go into the evening, and then you had the game, and then you went home the next day. That was all the commitment there was. Now, forget about it.
On the inside corner, strike 3 call.
Stayed inside, Ronnie.
Well, I talked a little bit about what has made Kendrick a better pitcher. Never pitch right-handers inside. I thought this pitch was in. Let's see from the overhead camera.
Oh, too close to take. A little bit of that ball on the block.
Tough pitch, but similar to a pitch that Hefner did not get in the top of the first inning
against Mayberry.
That looked like a little front door slider.
It was that little kind of cutter inside. The hitter assumes it's going to run in on him because Kendrick has that kind of movement, but it stays true.
So it's left to Marlon Byrd, and the first half Marlon had 15 home runs, the team leading 51 RBIs, including 10 RBIs in his last 8 games. And a little dribbler, and it'll be picked up in foul ground by Kendrick. And of course, with Byrd at age 35 and a guy who probably doesn't figure in the Mets' long-term plans, it has led to rampant speculation about what Sandy Alderson might do with Byrd before the trading deadline.
Well, he's a big piece to get rid of. I mean, how important has he been to the offense? Well, maybe you get a big piece. I don't know, Keith.
When is the deadline, Gare?
31st, 12 days away.
And you can also go beyond that, too. There's ways
around.
You
can get guys through waivers.
Correct. So it all depends on the fortunes of of the Mets.
Here's the way I look at it. It all depends on what they offer you.
Yeah. True.
I mean, trading Carlos Beltran 2 years ago was painful because the Mets didn't play very well once he was gone. But they got a very important piece in that deal. Now, last year, the Mets had Scott Hairston in a sort of similar spot. He wasn't quite having the year that Byrd is having, but he was having a very nice year. And the Mets declined to trade him because, frankly, they didn't feel as though they were offered enough.
So someone like Pittsburgh, who's all of a sudden needs it. We were there, Gary. Mm-hmm. They need another bat.
Sure.
Texas does, too.
And they've got some arms over in Pittsburgh. You never know.
I'm sure that those conversations will be ensuing, and it's all about what's best for the franchise in the long run. And, you know, as good as Marlon has been, he's been fantastic. You don't see him being here in a couple of years.
I'll correct myself, Garrett. We were there in Pittsburgh, but you had a day off.
I had 2 days off.
2 days off.
I watched your game Sunday. Nice job. Kept things in check. Kendrick ahead 1-2 on Byrd, and he fouls it back. You know, Ronnie spent the entire road trip in the studio, including that 16-inning game in San Francisco.
Oh,
he had to do the post-game show.
I know. I got home at 5:15. It was surreal. I'll tell you that. But so Sunday, you had the keys to the castle, huh? Big man.
Kevin and I, we had free. We were romping all over the place.
And Byrd goes down on strikes. The changeup from Kendrick gets him. Back-to-back strikeouts for Kendrick, and the Mets failed to score. It's still 4-0.
Easy, lazy days of summer, right?
These are the days you don't want to go down in that subway. Oh my gosh,
hey,
I've been there.
Better than it used to be. You know, when I was growing up taking the subway, they didn't have air-conditioned subway cars. Right. At least now, when you get in the train, you get some relief.
Hey, I am not putting down subway. I love the subway. That's how I got around town when I lived in Manhattan. But I tell you what, in those hot days like this, it's oppressive down there.
Well, Jeremy Hefner will try and start over in the second inning and throws a first pitch curveball for a strike to Rollins. Rollins led off the game with a single to center, and the Phillies were off and running on a 4-run, 6-hit first inning. And for Hefner, it was unfortunately a familiar feeling. Last year, gave up 7 runs in the first inning against the Phillies. Got hit very hard in the first inning by the Phillies the first time he faced them this year, and it's happened yet again. Rollins followed by Michael Young and Chase Utley for the Phils in the second. Down to right, then Byrd has to adjust to move back. So the ball does appear to be carrying tonight in a way that it does not normally. And it's pretty standard operating procedure for a 95-degree night. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Michael Young, who struck out his first time up. Michael Young, 2,324 hits beginning play tonight, and his name has been very prominently mentioned in trade rumors.
But for the Phillies, it's a little different because Ruben Amaro has to figure out in the next 12 days whether his team is in it or out of it or somewhere in between.
Who's going to play third base? Are you going to move Utley to third and Dalvis into the lineup?
Well, remember, we saw Utley taking ground balls to third last year.
You know, it's a fine line for a GM too, because if the players know if the GM sells the ship, then the GM's quit on you.
Well, here's the problem from the Phillies standpoint. As Young goes down on 3 pitches, third strikeout for Hefner. You know, they have had an incredibly successful run. They won 5 straight division titles before last season, and they were thinking this was the last year that they could keep the old gang together and squeeze one more year out of them. That's why they invested in a veteran like Young. But unfortunately, when you're old, sometimes you break. And we've seen it with Howard. We saw it at the beginning of the year with Utley. And, of course, with Roy Halladay along the way, too.
Well, grave concern, obviously, over Ryan Howard. That Achilles heel or tendon injury. That's a serious one, even if you're in your 20s.
And you'd have to think that the Achilles contributed to the knee problem, which is what has felt him most recently.
Well, if I can steal a line, used to be's don't count anymore, and that's what baseball's all about. Utley was some kind of player, one of the best players in the National League when 2007, 2008, 2009, but boy, injuries have befallen him, and the calendar has betrayed him.
He unloaded a triple against Hefner his first time up to drive in a run. A ball and a strike to Utley with 2 out. Out to right center, angling in. Nieuwenhuis got a late start, but he dives and makes the catch. And it looked like Nieuwenhuis misjudged that one a little bit too, but this time able to recover and make the grab to end the inning. Nieuwenhuis with a nice recovery. 4-0 Philly. Home second inning. Ike Davis leads off against Kyle Kendrick. Ike finished the first half 0 for his last 11. And Terry Collins said it with Kevin Burkhardt right before the game when we had him on the field tonight. It is essential that Ike get it going and get it going quickly. And with the specter of Lucas Duda and Josh Satin sitting on the bench, time is short.
But he's got a window of opportunity.
Hands are back up again.
He's got a lot of moving parts. There's no question about that. We've critiqued him enough. To me, it's very basic. He has to stay back. He's been too quick, committing too early, getting his weight forward, and got nothing left His arms come with him, and he's dead duck. So he has to stay back. Let the ball come to him.
Ike rejoined the team from the minor leagues in Milwaukee on the last road trip. So this is his first home game since coming back up from Las Vegas, and there was an interestingly muted reception for Ike. No boos, no cheers, just
we're watching.
Nothing. Exactly. That's a good way of putting it, Robbie. Yeah, there's a strike 3-2. One thing he has done better, he has stopped chasing as many pitches. Doesn't mean he's cured it, but he has been drawing some walks since coming back. But there's no power there at all. At least not so far. John Buck on deck, then Kirk Neuenhuis here in the home second. And Ike fouls it away. The last time the Mets saw Kyle Kendrick on April the 26th here at Citi Field, he threw a complete game 3-hit shutout. Best game of his career. He's already beaten the Mets twice this season. Hit a batter to start the first inning, but got out of that jam. And now he strikes out Davis to start the second. Ike taking the fastball for a called third strike. 3 consecutive strikeouts for Kendrick.
Go watch the front shoulder. That was a fastball. It just he's caught looking here. Stop looking.
Ball was supposed to be a fastball and ended up on the outside corner. But the alarming thing for Ike there, and it's only one at bat, okay, that the 3-1 pitch was a fastball away. The 3-2 pitch was a fastball away. Both taken.
Get away from that computer. See the ball and hit it.
John Buck drives one to deep left field. Back goes Brown to the warning track. He has room and makes the grab. So Buck, who was swinging the bat very well coming into the All-Star break, has a good swing his first time up and flies out to deep left.
Little off the end, Keith.
Hanging. Oh, it stayed inside. He was too quick. That was a helicopter if I ever saw one. It just stayed on the inside part of the plate. He was too quick with it.
So 2 out and nobody on for Kirk Neuenhuis. Neuenhuis got much more playing time on the road trip that led up to the All-Star break and had some very good games along the way, including that extraordinary game he had in Milwaukee. Got on base 6 times. Takes the change up 1-1.
Call me crazy. This is my pick to click in the second half. I think Neuenhuis is going to show that he can play at this level, at a high level.
Ronnie, that's not like you to stick your neck out like that.
Well, that's, I mean, I'm not really sticking my neck out. It's not, I don't think there's anything happened to me if he isn't the player I think he can be. Or maybe there is.
Sword of Damocles is hanging. 2-1 to Neuenhuis, and he popped one and foul ground. That'll go out of play.
A little more pine tar. You know what happens when you have pine tar and your bat gets in the dirt, and your pine tar picks up, because it's a stickum, it picks up the dirt, or if you get knocked down and your hands go to the ground, get dirt, you lose all of the stickum of the pine tar, and you have to go back and get some more. Particularly with gloves.
How would you know?
Well, I've worn them a few times, but very seldom.
Strike 3 called. So another man caught looking. That's 3 of the 4 strikeouts for Kendrick on call third strikes. 4-0 Phillies after 2. Talk baseball with SNY's Bobby Ojeda starting in the third inning of Monday night's game. Just go to SNY.TV, click on the link and join the conversation. It's Chat Live with Bobby O, presented by Verizon, only on SNY.TV. One scorcher of a sun. It's been with us for the better part of a week now. It's supposed to start cooling off Sunday.
Yes, there's supposed to be a break.
Dominic Brown leads off in the third inning against Jeremy Hefner and takes a strike. Brown had a base hit his first time up between right and the third base bag, but David playing just as far off the line this time. And Brown pops one up in foul ground right, thinking he might have a play, but it's in the stands. Tonight's Twisted But True Fact is brought to you by Twisted Tea, the hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea. Dominic Brown has as many home runs and RBIs as any Phillies player last season. Last year, Carlos Ruiz led the Phillies in RBIs with 68. Carlos Ruiz this year has 6 RBIs. Brown hits one in the air down the right field line, and that'll go foul. I think that should have been the Twisted But True Fact.
Carlos says thank you for it not being the Twisted But True Fact.
Well, he's had some extenuating circumstances, right? He had the suspension for 25 games. He had the hamstring injury that kept him out a month. But nonetheless, that's driven to deep right field. Byrd takes a look, but that ball is out of here into the Pepsi porch. Dominic Brown with home run number 24. His second RBI of the night. He now has more RBIs than Eddie Philly had all of last year. His 69th, and it's 5-0 Philadelphia.
Well, this young man's come into his own this year. Now he's got to do it back to back. But this season right now is a coming out party for him, and he's very talented.
You know, it tells me a little bit about Dominic Brown. Go ahead, Keith.
Curveball, wiped down the middle. It breaks down low, but it had all the plate. Low ball hitter lefties. That's a good curveball to hit.
You know,
and that's a bomb.
In a strange way, you know, Dominic Brown represents to a lot of fans, front office, media, how sometimes you have to be patient with some of these young players. He's a kid that really got some ridicule in Philadelphia for not being able to play right away, and now is coming to his own probably in his third season.
They're your Time Warner Cable home run leaders. Brown now ties Pedro Alvarez, just one behind Carlos Gonzalez for the National League lead.
Look at Mr. Beltran having a nice season.
Well, here's the other piece about that, Ronnie. You know, it also is, it's a tribute to the scouts, because Dominic Brown, while he was highly touted when he was in the minors, he was a 20th round draft pick. And the guy at the plate now, Darren Ruff, 20th round draft pick. So it goes to show that we pay a lot of attention to pedigree.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just don't know, and depth of drafts sometimes becomes just as important as the highlight at the top. Lace to center. Neuenhuis coming on, has to dive, can't make this catch. Boy, he's having a rough night. Trying for second is Ruff. Young's throw sails over and backed up by Hefner. Well, Neuenhuis has hesitated now on 3 different balls. One over his head, one to shallow right center, and now this one to shallow left center, and this time it cost him.
Well, we've got the hot temperatures, the hazy sky, and here we are at twilight, not even just beginning twilight.
You know, in a strange way, I think that first ball that beat him to center field has made him hesitant now on these 2 balls that have been in front of him.
Well, this is, I mean, we've watched Kirk, you know, for a couple of months last year, and now for a couple of months this year. This is the roughest night I can ever recall him having in the outfield.
Agreed.
Delmon Young hit a dribbler for an infield hit his first time, and he lines this one to right field. That'll fall for a hit. Ruff to third. He'll be held up there, but it gets behind Byrd, who stumbled, and now Ruff will score. Into second goes Young. It's all falling apart for the Mets. 6-0 Philadelphia.
That ball was hit off the end of the bat from Young. When it hit the ground, it had tremendous spin and spun right away from Byrd.
Well, I don't know if they're going to call this an RBI. The runner at third, Ruff was held up by third base coach Ryan Sandberg off the end of the bat. Here comes easy play. He overran it. Wow. I thought maybe he slipped.
The ball just spun.
That ball has the screwy bounce. Sidewinder.
Well, there's no question Ruff had stopped at third. It's a matter of whether the scorer is going to charge an error on Byrd or whether he'll just call it a double.
I think it's going to be a single and an error.
Yeah,
what do you think?
That's exactly what it's going to be. So no RBI.
Well, when it rains, it pours. Just up enough where he gets the bat on it. The end of the bat.
Now John Mayberry, who singled in a run his first time up. And that breaking ball in the dirt. They just, I believe the scorer just said single E9 RBI, but that doesn't make any sense because if it's an error, Ruff had clearly stopped at third base, was being held all the way. So it should not be an RBI if it's an error. John Mayberry singled through the hole in the left to drive in a run in the first. Mets have the bullpen getting ready again as Hefner is having a very rough night.
Well, look at your screen right here. Mr. Sandberg, the Hall of Famer. He's clearly holding him up. He would not have scored. So if it's an error, it can't be an RBI.
Right.
There's Ryan. One of the great players.
Hall of Fame second baseman with the Cubs, who came up in the Phillies organization. That's drilled down the left field line. And Hefner's just getting tattooed. Delman Young will come in to score. Mayberry goes into second, standing with an RBI double. His second RBI of the night. 7-0 Philadelphia.
And that's going to be it for Jeremy. This is a shellacking here. He really got lit up.
Tries to come with a sinker in. And with those feet moving, Mayberry's still able to center that baseball.
The Phillies just come out hard.
Now, Jeremy Hefner, over his previous 8 starts, had the best ERA in the majors over that span, but he and the Phillies like oil and water. Called the bullpen, brought to you by Verizon Fios. Greg Burke on in long relief. 7-0 Philadelphia. Well, that line says it all, and Hefner's still responsible for one runner on base, so it could get even worse. 63 pitches and not a good night at all for Jeremy, who goes 2 innings plus and gives way to Greg Burke with nobody out in the third.
Well, it's been a tough go for Burke. Recalled on July 5th. In his outings all the way back to May, he's been the one that's been on that shuttle back and forth to Las Vegas. He's given up 8 runs in his last 10 1/3 innings pitched.
Burke last pitched on Saturday in Pittsburgh, was charged with 2 runs and 2/3 of an inning. And he throws low and inside to Carlos Ruiz, who flied out to left his first time up. By the way, our official scorer has come to his senses and taken away the RBI from Delman Young.
Is it Monsieur Cochran? Howie?
Yes.
Okay.
The other way down the right field line, and that's a base hit. So the Phillies just keep on hitting. Mayberry comes home. It's a double for Ruiz, who now has 7 RBIs for the season, and it's 8-0 Philadelphia. And the book is now closed on Jeremy Hefner, who's given up 8 runs in 2 innings plus.
Oh, it's a tough day for Jeremy.
Still nobody out.
And the Phillies are hitting it in all fields. They're pulling, they're hitting the ball the opposite field.
Hitting like they know what's coming. I mean,
let's look for the bunt now with Kendrick up there.
8-0.
No.
Wow.
You don't bunt here.
Ouch.
Don't like that at all.
Ow. That gets your players hurt back in the day.
Even this early in the game.
You don't bunt there.
I don't think you bunt, Gary. That used to get one of your players knocked down, hit.
Just, for in that instance, a guy is in scoring position. There's no outs. You got 3 at bats to try to drive him in. I just don't think at 8-0 with 2 4 spots in the first 3 innings that you let your pitcher bunt there, especially with Kendrick, who can hit. It's a wrong play, I believe.
It's too big a lead. You don't pour it on.
Infield comes in for Jimmy Rollins, who singled and flied out 1 for 2.
Doesn't mean that Keith and I are right, but we had the same reaction at the same time.
Yes, we did. I'd go up there with body armor if I was hitting the next inning.
My only question would be, does it matter at what point in the game, or are you just saying 8-run lead, it doesn't matter?
I'm not saying you're not giving up if you're Philadelphia. In fact, you're being more aggressive by taking a chance, by having 3 chances to drive the runner in from second base. So it's not like you're giving up by bunting. In fact, in some ways, it gives the Mets an out.
So let me ask you then, what's the beef? What's the problem with bunting?
The problem with bunting is that it's 8-0, and this entire ballpark has been rained with line drives here for 45 minutes. And as a Met, if you're in your uniform, you're almost a little embarrassed now at how you've come out in this game, and that adds to the embarrassment.
And it's pouring it onto a tad, Gary. I mean, I don't think Charlie has that intention, but I've seen it happen in my day where the next hitter came up and got drilled.
And he's mad at the pitcher.
And what did I do? What did I do? I've seen benches screaming at each other. A lot of wolfing going on when something like that happened.
Well, Burke has faced 3 batters, given up an RBI double, the sacrifice by Kendrick, now a walk to Rollins on 4 pitches. And now will take on Michael Young with runners at first and third.
If they stay out of a double play here, they're going to send 9 men to the plate again.
Young's been up twice, struck out both times. He drills one to deep left field. Eric Young looks up, and Michael Young has a 3-run homer, and it's 11-0 Philadelphia. Well, the Mets came back from the All-Star break hoping to build on a very strong last month. Instead, they have come back to a disastrous first 3 innings.
Well, it's only 1 game. But this is a sinker that obviously didn't get inside. Look at the full extension of the hands right on it.
7th home run of the year for Young, who now has 31 runs batted in. The Phillies had 4 runs and 6 hits in the first inning. They have 7 runs and 6 hits in the third inning. And now Chase Utley, the 9th man to bat in the inning. He's already tripled and lined out to center. 1 for 2.
Well, it's inside. Forgive me. He just got the barrel. Not much sink.
Remember his first 2 at bats, Keith struck out on sliders away. Sinker in, he was able to cover.
The 7 runs the Phillies have scored here in the 3rd inning, the largest inning against the Mets this season.
Well, you know what? We used to always say, Garrett, get the bad one, get it out of your system.
Did I mention the good news? There's a post-game concert tonight. That means that the fans are not going to leave early.
Okay, good. All right. Who is performing?
That would be Nas performing tonight.
He's a Queens guy, right?
Yes, he's a Queens guy. I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing that the fans will be sticking around for 9 innings tonight.
We'll have to wait a little longer here.
2-2 now to Utley. Well, now for Terry Collins, this game becomes about bullpen management. We talked about how torn up the Mets bullpen was before the All-Star break, and they opted to keep a 13th pitcher coming out of the break. So now you'd have to figure Gonzalez Herman, who pitched in a couple of games over the weekend in Pittsburgh, will get an extended look. Burke strikes out Utley for the 2nd out of the inning. So 2-away now. Dominic Brown, who led off this inning with a home run up into the Pepsi porch, has a chance to do some more damage. He's already singled in a run and hit that home run, which made him, by the way, 6 for 6 lifetime against Jeremy Hefner with 2 home runs. Might be a guy Jeremy wants to stay away from in the future. Look at those overall numbers now against the Phillies. 43 hits in 18 1/3 innings. They have just tattooed him up, down, and sideways. And even the game he beat them here in June, he gave up 10 hits in 6 innings.
Yeah.
There are horses for courses. This is a horse that has thrown Jeremy Hefner.
Yeah.
Now Burke behind on Brown, 2-0. And he takes a changeup for a strike, 2-1.
Low.
Darren Ruff, who already has 2 hits tonight, waits on deck. That's pulled foul. Well, as Keith said a moment ago, it's only 3 innings, but it is certainly of note that over the last 4 years, the Mets have slipped significantly the second halves of seasons, and you hate for this to be the keynote for the season's second half.
Well, from Ronnie and I, for those baseball players, it's just one game. Missed inside, nice try, and this is one that we, the old saying, it just turned the page. The question is also going to be is that the players have missed 4 games, the everyday players. How long is he going to stay with Wright? Give Wright maybe a couple bats of 3, maybe 2 at bats to get him out of the game if it remains 11-0.
Yeah, that would be the only guy, because everybody else had the time off. Murphy makes the play on Brown. 10 men came to bat for the Phillies, and 2 of them left the ballpark. Dominic Brown led off the 3rd inning with his 24th home run of the year. And Michael Young capped a 7-run inning with a 3-run shot, his 7th of the year, ending a bad night at the office for Jeremy Hefner, 11-0 Phillies. Quintanilla will lead off for the Mets, and we check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
You know, nobody shows confidence and swagger quite like Jimmy Rollins in the years I've been covering the Mets. That's for sure, guys. I mean, he is always the guy to kind of have the wherewithal to lead the team with his swagger. Let's face it, he's done that since he's gotten here. Mets fans know that. And I took the pulse of the Phillies today through him. What better way to do it? I mean, everybody in Philadelphia, media, especially fans, they want the Phillies to sell at this deadline. They want them to get a little bit younger, and there are big pieces to trade off that they decide to do it. You're talking Chase Utley with that contract, Cliff Lee, those guys at the forefront of it. And I asked Jimmy Rollins, can this team compete and get to the playoffs? Quote, he said, we have one heck of a chance to play in October. And I asked him why. And he said, well, look at it this way. We don't want to be at 500, but we're there. We're not under it right now. Considering how we're playing, that's a really, really good thing. He said, lately, we've played really sound baseball and against good teams. And when you do that, and especially it builds into wins, it builds a lot of confidence. I think the way we've played is the type of team we should have going forward. Obviously, he looks pretty prescient now with the score 11-0. But he said the other thing, guys, is what you had talked about. The second half success of this Phillies team ever since Charlie Manuel is here is evident. He said, you look at our team last year. We were 13 games under at the break. And then all of a sudden later in the year, we're talking about us in the mix. We were right in that mix. We fell short. We finished 500 as Quintanilla down on strikes. But Rollins strongly believes this team can compete if Ruben Amaro Jr. lets them. Back to you.
How about that?
Well, there's 6.5 games out at first, 5.5 games out of the second wild card spot, and success breeds confidence in this franchise, especially since Rollins has been here, has had a lot of success.
Sometimes half the battle is thinking you can do it.
Greg Burke will take the turn back.
Pretty amazing. You saw that graphic. He won the Gold Glove last year, and getting on in age and wearing the gold.
To Burke.
So Burke is going to get some more work, and I'm sure it's going to be Herman after this.
Tough call, though, right, guys? If you're this Phillies front office, I mean, I'm assuming these next 9 games will decide a lot with the 3 here in New York and then St. Louis and Detroit both on the road. But you got an aging team, you got a lot of pieces you could sell off, but you've got still the core guys that have won. Interesting decisions to be made going forward.
Well, part of the deal is that you don't want to stay too long at the end. I mean, obviously Ryan Howard's contract is untradeable. It was way too much money even before he got hurt, and now with him injured, that's going to be a sunk cost for the Phils. But Lee is an interesting case as Burke is down looking. That's 6 strikeouts first time through the batting order for Kyle Kendrick, who's never had more than 8 in a major league game. But, you know, Lee is a guy who has been the hired gun before. He's been traded at the deadline several times. You know, the Phillies talk about building their staff with Hamels and Lee going forward, but if they could get a haul of prospects for Lee, that would be awfully tempting, wouldn't it?
Well, it's hard for a team not to be so attracted to getting Cliff Lee on your team, Gary and Keith, because he's proven that when the postseason comes, he gets better. He can face the music, face the pressure. I just think, you know, they're saddled also with guys with some big contracts, and that's hard to move also.
Eric Young's been the only Met base runner tonight, hit by a pitch leading off the first inning. He stole second, got to third with 1 out. Kendrick able to strike out Wright and Byrd to pin him there, and the Mets have only hit 1 fair ball since. So it has been a rough beginning to this game in every aspect.
Ooh. Kind of want that pitch, don't you? Nice little backdoor hook.
First one he's thrown tonight.
Throws his curveball only 2% of the time. Might have surprised the home plate umpire Tim Timmons. Down to first, and Ruff handles the hop and wins the race to the bag. 9 in a row retired by Kendrick. We played 3 at Citi Field, all Phillies. Citi Field on a steamy Friday evening. Mets beginning the post-All-Star break portion of their schedule. Get to Citi Field this Sunday for Dwight Gooden Bobblehead Day, presented by Gold's Horse Radish. The first 25,000 fans in attendance at the 110 game Sunday will receive a Dwight Gooden All-Star Bobblehead as part of the 2013 All-Star Bobblehead Series. Go to Mets.com for tickets. And as a bonus with your Dwight Gooden Bobblehead Day, you get Matt Harvey and Cliff Lee.
Wow.
Now that's a lot of pitching in one day.
Matchup.
Darren Ruff leads off in the top of the 4th inning. Ruff is already 2 for 2, singled and doubled. He's scored 2 runs. Greg Burke, who finished the 3rd inning and gave up 3 runs of his own after Jeremy Hefner was charged with the first 8, stays on for the 4th. Delman Young on deck, John Mayberry behind him. Nieuwenhuis standing his ground. Makes the grab, 1 away. Your Mets upcoming schedule presented by Wise Snacks. You can listen to all Mets games on Sports Radio 66 and Sports Radio 101.9 FM WFAN. 2 more with the Phillies, 4 with the Braves, and then see that day a week from tonight. Which one of you gentlemen is going to Washington for the day-night doubleheader?
Stay hot. That would be
That's
me.
you?
I'm telling you what, I've been hotter than tables this year.
Hey, listen, you deserve it after having that first road trip to Minnesota and Colorado.
Plus, he had the 16-inning game in San Francisco.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
But I got the West Coast.
The 15-inning game in Miami, you had that one too.
Yeah, say it's all. Hey, we get paid.
Handsomely, from what I understand. Quintanilla sails the throw, and Quintanilla, who had a long errorless streak, sees it come to an end. He had gone 35 straight games without an error, but he sailed that throw, enabling Delman Young to reach safely.
Well, he had an easy play here. And we'll take a look to the backhand. He plays a very deep shortstop. We made that pretty clear. He just got loose with the throw. He hasn't got a great arm for a shortstop. He's got a good enough arm, but not a great arm.
So the Mets commit their 2nd error of the night. And now John Mayberry, who is 2 for 2, single and a double. He's driven in 2 runs and scored 1. How often does this happen? By the end of the 3rd inning, every Philly regular has a hit, and every Philly regular has scored a run.
Wow.
Carlos Ruiz on deck. Phillies had 6 hits in the 1st inning, 6 more in the 3rd. And the breaking ball from Burke misses. 2-0 to Mayberry.
Those pitchers just don't know how to have fun, Ronnie.
Too much fun? Is that what you're saying?
They got a sack in there. A K and a sack. I'd almost just not even hold runners on now. I'd just play Ike behind the runner.
You know, we were talking about Hefner and struggling first start out of the All-Star break, week off and the whole thing. Our crack staff went back and did a little checking run.
Okay. Not going to be another embarrassing moment.
Well, it's illuminating. I don't know about embarrassing. Your first start after the All-Star break, 12 times in your career.
12 times?
Well, 12 years.
Oh, yeah.
Your first start didn't have to be the first game out of the break,
okay.
but your first start after the break.
Yeah.
3-6, 4.18, which obviously pales in comparison to your overall record.
Should have been working a little harder, I guess, obviously. Now, Dave, how have I did on the first game back? It's too hard for you to do? Okay, I know. It might take you like 10 minutes, so leave it alone.
There's ball 4. Mayberry's on for the 3rd time.
That's asking too much work from Dave. He's our executive stat man.
It's hot. He wants to go back to the air conditioner.
I understand.
My question would be, how'd you do the second start after the All-Star break?
I don't know. Jeez.
Probably kicked it right back in gear.
There he is.
There's Dave.
A rare on-air appearance for our statistician, Dave Freed. You know, we put him on microphone one time.
Oh, boy.
And he had nothing to say.
Well, what new?
Ruiz is 1 for 2, doubled in a run his last time up.
Oh,
the thing about Dave is Dave has a lot to say, but you can't really understand half of it.
Well, he communicates by notes that he gives to you,
which I
that
can't read.
Really hard to read also.
So you can't understand him when he speaks, and you can't understand him when he writes.
Somehow it's a beautiful relationship. It works out.
Have we described to our fans what Dave's job actually is? It's very critical to the broadcast.
Go right ahead, Keith.
Well, he's a stat man. Yes, he's got the computer, and Gary will ask him specific questions. And it's also Dave's job to be with the game and pay attention, and he may come up with something that's important that he can pass on to Gary. So he's just not taking orders.
That's a foul ball.
So it's a very critical component up here for this broadcast, folks.
All we're asking, though, is for a fail-safe communication method. I'm thinking semaphore might work. Get him a set of flags.
He could wave him up and down. Just like he's landing, getting a plane into the.
He's got the worst handwriting. You can't read his handwriting. Terrible.
How critical could it be to the broadcast? He doesn't even do all the games.
It's cryptic.
1-2 to Ruiz with the pitcher Kendrick on deck. 2 aboard for the Phillies, and the double play ball right at Quintanilla. Murphy with the turn, and the Mets get the 6-4-3 double play to get Burke through the top of the 4th.
Daniel Murphy leads it off, and Murphy through his career has been a hot and cold type hitter. We know that. Got off to a rousing start to begin the season, but he's been pretty cold for the last 6 weeks or so. And speaking with him today, he feels like he's at least in a better place to deal with that. Earlier in his career, maybe 3 years ago, he would just go in the cage till midnight and swing away till his arms fell off. He's trying to trust the process right now, but he goes back to an at-bat he had in San Francisco, hoping that an at-bat like that can get him out of this. And if you remember, guys, it was the second game of that 3-game set in San Francisco. Mets and Giants are tied at 5 in the 8th, and here's Jeremy Affeldt, who's murder on lefties, and had a tough at-bat against Murphy. Murphy 1-2, fouling off pitches left and right, and does this. What Murphy called me today, said a, quote, can of garbage to the outfield, but he said, you know what, it got the job done. It scored a run, and what was good for me in that moment, it was good for the team. It put us in front. I did what I had to do to get the run home, and he does what he has to do here to get a single, much to the big applause here at Citi Field. But he said, the one thing that I've learned to try and deal with this is, even though this year I really haven't felt great at the plate for more than a couple weeks, just to grind, just to battle, just to deal with it, kind of trust the process, and hopefully, at the end of the year, it'll all play itself out.
So Murphy has the Mets' first hit of the night against Kyle Kendrick.
Kevin, I remember that at bat. Remember how tough that felt is against left-handers. He threw 2 sliders that Murphy was able to take, and then 2 fastballs in. One he fouled back, and then that one, as you said, the piece of garbage, but a nice sac fly.
He called it his best at bat of the year, Ronnie, to me, and I think that says something, especially at the time. He said because I was struggling and not feeling so good.
Wright took a call, 3rd strike his first time, and he drills a base hit. So the long uphill climb begins with back-to-back base hits from Murphy and Wright to start the bottom of the 4th.
Well, crazier things have happened. Another hanger right there. David, who had a terrific first half, good balance.
It's interesting watching right there. We pointed out earlier in the game Mayberry and his feet moving all over the place. Boy, it's as soft of feet movement as you'll ever see from David Wright.
Now Marlon Byrd, who struck out his first time up. And Kendrick fires a strike. Kendrick struck out 6 Mets his first time through the batting order. That matches his season high.
And he is not a strikeout guy. 74 strikeouts coming in 124 2/3.
He's now pitched 12 straight scoreless innings against the Mets, going back to that shutout that he worked back in April. 1-1 to Byrd with Ike Davis on deck. Murphy at second, Wright at first. Mets trying to build something against Kendrick, who's been handed a plethora of runs to work with. And Byrd unloads deep left field. Back goes Brown, looking up, and it's out of here into the second deck. Now Marlon Byrd was not invited to play home run derby. He played his own game. A 3-run second deck shot to get the Mets on the board. It's 11-3, number 16 for Byrd.
Well, you could have made a very strong argument for Marlon Byrd to be in that National League All-Star team. This was a hanging curveball, and look at Marlon's reaction after contact. No, fastball. Changeup. One of the two. He knew it. Either way you slice it, that's a bomb.
So the Mets have some life. And now Ike Davis takes outside. Ike struck out looking his first time up.
Ronnie, as a pitcher with a big lead, you got to watch it that you just don't kind of make some fat pitches.
Yeah, put it on cruise control, right? Can't do it.
That's a base hit. 4 straight hits for the Mets. As Ike Davis hits it hard.
Well, here's the swing from the side. The leg kick. Full extension. That's a home run swing right there. That's a pitch up in the strike zone. And Marlon decided to, I think I'll lift this one.
By the way, in case you're wondering, the largest deficit the Mets have ever overcome to win a game in their history is 8. Still have an enormous way to go in this game.
Well, here's Ike. Slider hanging, still off the end of the bat. Still going out a little in front to get it. I mean, I know I'm being really, really critical here. And that's a ball I would like to see Ike, because he's been pulling so much, go to left center field with. See, the contact is not so bad, but it's a ball that is down the middle of the plate. That's a ball you can play with as a hitter. He is a little out in front. He's better with his balance. But when you're trying to come back around out of a slump, and you've been pull, That ball you get down, that splits the middle of the plate, that's the ball you got to go to left center field if you're a left-hand hitter and vice versa, right, to get used to that contact further, deeper into the zone.
Kendrick, after giving up 4 straight hits behind on Buck 2-0. Buck flied out to the warning track and left his first time, and he lines this one into center field for the Mets' 5th straight hit.
Jeez.
Well, the Phillies strung together 5 straight hits in the first inning, did it again in the third. So it's the 3rd time in the game that a team has had 5 consecutive hits. You can sometimes go a month without seeing that happen, and we've seen it happen 3 times in the first 4 innings.
Well, let me tell you something right here, Ronnie. You got one more. You got 2 innings to get a W here.
Well, what we saw in the first 3 innings from Kendrick is him using his slider, his fastball, his changeup. He's gotten away from that, trying to sneak a couple of fastballs over early in the count. The Mets just refused to let it happen.
By the way, let's not also overlook the fact that all of a sudden Buck over the last 10 days has started hitting a lot better and not swinging for the fences as much as he was earlier in the year.
Well, he's on a 7-game hitting streak now.
To me, starting with that at bat against Kane in San Francisco, where he hit that in the first inning over the second baseman's head, going up the middle, hitting it to right center, staying in the middle of the field.
Now Neuenhuis will try and keep the string going. Murphy in right single. Byrd hit a 3-run homer. Davis and Buck have singled. Neuenhuis went down looking his first time up. And he pops one up into left. And Dominic Brown settles under it for the first out of the inning. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Brooklyn Burger. Tomorrow, Brooklyn Burger will host the annual burger eating contest on the plaza outside Citi Field at 12 noon. Keith will once again MC the event as 10 contestants try to become the 2013 Brooklyn Burger eating champion. Check it out tomorrow at Citi Field before the Mets-Phillies game.
That was Charlie Weaver. That wasn't me.
12 noon is going to be a little warm out there. Brother.
I hear you. I wonder if I'd be okay if I wear Bermuda shorts and flip-flops for that.
Are we invited to watch?
You don't need to watch.
Here's Quintanilla, who struck out his first time up. And Omar lines one just foul. Let's try to keep up the pressure on Kyle Kendrick. Andrew Brown has come out on deck to bat for Greg Burke as Gonzalez Herman warms up in the bullpen. Davis at second, Buck at first, so no speed at all on the base path behind Kendrick, who's still working with an 8-run lead. And Sills get up and away 1-1. Fastball away, 2-1.
See kind of the opening and closing of the glove by Kendrick. The reason he does that, he's a split finger pitcher. That's one of his big pitches. He doesn't want to give that pitch away. So when he comes up in the stretch, that glove will open and close very rapidly, trying to disguise what pitch and grip he's going to use.
It's like he's flapping. Quintanilla hits a double play grounder right to Rollins. Utley with the turn, and that retires the side. But the Mets get on the board. Marlon Byrd unloads his 16th home run of the year into the second deck. A 3-run shot for Byrd. Phillies with an 8-run lead as they go to the 5th. Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Not the happiest of super slow-mo Montages.
No, I was going to say.
Well, Citi Field hosted a couple of sold-out events Monday and Tuesday. And Ronnie, I know you were here Monday night, and I was just thinking, watching that Marlon Byrd home run into the second deck. I was not here for the home run derby, but Yoenis Cespedes put on such a show hitting the ball into the third deck here at Citi Field multiple times. That had to be something.
Well, the two things I remember from the home run derby, there are a few things. One is the standing ovation that David got was a minute and a half long. It was just so great and heartfelt. It was great seeing that. Second, Cespedes not only in the upper tank in left field, but also went to a place in center field I have not seen a home run yet. Over the apple, off the center field backdrop. The background of hitting. Hit that 460 something or whatever. And then third, they had two high school kids that most people did not see. It was not on the television. They're both 17. They were using an aluminum bat, and one of them in his first time with 10 outs hit 11 home runs, one in the second deck. 17-year-old high school baseball players with an aluminum bat, but still so impressive.
Kendrick strokes one for Quintanilla to handle. One away. Now, I'm not a big fan of the home run derby. I think it's kind of a sideshow, but the thing about Cespedes is that, especially here on the East Coast, a lot of people, and National League fans especially, don't know him that well, and it was a chance for him to really make his mark. After all, he wasn't an all-star. He was only here for the home run derby.
I was able to shake his hand before the game. I didn't realize the size. I mean, he is barrel-chested. He is as strong as anyone you've ever seen. And asked, I thought, was pretty interesting if he would want Yasiel Puig, his countryman, in the home run hitting contest. He said he's a singles hitter compared to me. I'm the home run hitting guy.
It certainly proved his point. Here's Rollins, who is 1 for 2 and a walk. Keith, did you ever participate in a home run hitting contest?
No, absolutely. No, definitely not. And I would never do it. I was too disciplined. But you know what we all forget about? You remember Barry Bonds refused to play in the home run derby? Was it the first or second year? And he took a whole lot of flack publicly in the press and the media. He got buried. And even Frank Robinson, who was in the commissioner's office, had to come down and talk to Barry and tell him to play. And you know what? I see Barry's point of view. Why do you want to monkey around with your swing?
Well, there's a lot of question about whether a home run derby can mess you up. I mean, we saw in 2006 after David Wright competed in the home run derby, and he was very successful, got to the final round, did not have a good second half in terms of hitting home runs. And the same when Bobby Abreu had that incredible run, I think it was the next year, and he had a tough second half. But I don't know if that's cause and effect or not.
I think it's just happenstance. These guys are too good to let a exhibition on a night affect 3 months of baseball or 2.5 months of baseball. It's just it happens, but you open yourself up. That's why some players don't want to be in it. So they don't want to open themselves up to, I hit a few home runs, and if I don't hit 300 the rest of the way, it must be because of the home run derby.
Burke takes care of Rollins for the second out. So Burke has to go a third inning of relief, and he's retired the first two here in the fifth.
Simple fastball away, swung right through it.
The other thing I was happy about in the home run derby, as you'll get that pitch again, is that Michael Kadire did well. After all the flack that David Wright took for putting Kadire on the team, that Kadire showed that he belonged.
Kadire was very smart about it. He hit it from about the blue background in left field over. I mean, he made sure he pulled everything down the left field line, made the park as short as he could.
Well, David got that rather nasty reaction in Pittsburgh for his choice of Kadire over Pedro Alvarez, who ended up in the home run derby anyway.
It was made up for with those Mets fans in the minute and a half. I don't know how long it was. I remember everyone standing, and it was just it was pretty. It had to feel incredible for David.
And of course, he got the same the next night when he was introduced for the All-Star game itself. Young tries to hold, and he stopped it in time. 1-2. Burke gave up a 3-run homer to Michael Young in the 3rd inning. Now trying to take care of Young to get through this top of the 5th.
Well, it's a big series up in Cincinnati. I know we're only starting the 2nd half, but Cincinnati jumps all over Pittsburgh 5-0, and that's in the bottom of the 5th.
Well, the Reds are 4 games behind the Pirates and 5 games behind the Cardinals in that NL Central.
Mike Leake starting that game for Cincinnati. He had a quiet, great first half.
And Francisco Liriano, who has been tremendous for the Pirates, giving up 5 runs and 4 1/3 tonight.
In St. Louis is home against San Diego in the 3rd, 0-0. That Central is quite a race, and a quality race, quality teams.
3-2 to Michael Young. And the breaking ball fouled off. Well, this is already the longest outing of Greg Burke's major league career. 2 2/3. After Jeremy Hefner lasted just 2 innings plus tonight and was charged with 8 runs and 10 hits. Josh Edgin next to the Mets bullpen. Gonzalez Herman was up earlier, but it is Edgin up now.
Utley and Brown, maybe, is that the reason?
Probably just to finish the inning, I would think, if Hefner doesn't get Young, which he does not. Young is on base with a 2-out walk. The 3rd walk given up by Burke, and that's going to be all for his tenure. So after 48 pitches over 2 2/3, Burke has had enough, and so Terry Collins will bring in the lefty to face Utley. So a pitching change for the Mets here at the top of the 5th. 11-3 Philadelphia. We'll be right back to Citi Field. Brought in to try and get the final out of the 5th inning.
Well, you can see Edgin's numbers so far. The bullpen, again, Burke was solid tonight in his 2 2/3. The bullpen this month has had a 2.28 ERA, so they pitched much better in July.
Utley tripled to drive in a run in the 1st inning. That snapped a 14-game RBI-less streak for Utley. He's 1 for 3 tonight, and Edgin misses low and in. So Burke went 2 2/3, gave up 2 hits and 3 runs so far. Walked 3, struck out 2, gave up the 3-run homer to Young, but then settled in and didn't allow a hit after that. And gave the Mets his longest outing to try and save the rest of the bullpen. Well, Edgin came in on Friday night and worked an inning and a third in Pittsburgh, 29 pitches, and then came back the next night and was ineffective, walked the 2 hitters he faced. But he's now had nearly a week off. And Utley smacks one to deep right field. Byrd goes back right at the wall, and it's out of here. Chase Utley with a 2-run homer, his 12th of the year. The Phillies hit their 3rd home run of the night, and it's now 13-3.
Mets score 3, and the Phillies answer.
Well, Josh is the kind of pitcher, hard thrower, straight. I think Chase is looking in here, and he's so quick inside. That's the old Utley swing, that little hockey swing he's got.
Well, tonight he has a triple, a homer, and 3 RBIs. Phillies now with the Munsters line, 13 runs, 13 hits.
Munsters. Oh, it's turn. Josh knew it. Nice shot right there. Great angle.
Just 26th and Roosevelt, though, not Mockingbird Lane.
There you go. Brown tops one past the mound. Tough play for Murphy with the bare hand, and he can't get him. Throws it away to boot. Brown will stay put with an infield hit.
Well, this is the issues that give Mets trouble defensively on the infield, particularly up the middle. Gary, you've got a Quintanilla who plays a very deep shortstop. We've seen some ground balls that are base hits that should be outs, and Murphy likes to play in that grass to give him a little more range, and we see a lot of this. Base hits on routine ground balls. Well, that's not really routine. Bleeders. That if they're playing in a normal depth, they're outs.
3rd hit of the night for Dominic Brown, and the 14th for the Phillies. And now Darren Ruff, who has 2 hits, a single and a double, and he scored 2 runs. And Burke retired the first 2 hitters in this inning, but he walked Michael Young. Burke left. Edgin came in, gave up the 2-run homer to Utley, and now the infield hit to Brown. And so the bleeding just continues unabated. By the way, that home run for Utley, his 30th against the Mets, which is by far his most against any opponent. Gets him halfway to Willie Stargell. And Edgin really struggling behind on Ruff, 3-1. The 13 runs for the Phillies matches the most against the Mets in any game this year. They gave up 13 against the Nationals on June the 30th.
Halfway to the most runs I've ever seen the Phillies score against the Mets.
It was 26, 1985. Below Joe Sambito. Popped it up. Byrd comes in to settle under it, and that retires the side. But a 2-run homer by Utley extends the Phillies' lead to 13-3. brings you a Jets training camp preview on Jets Nation. New episode Sunday at 7, only on SNY. Juan Lagares pinch hitting for the Mets.
By the way,
it's pretty tough to keep cool.
By the way, that is Lagares pinch hitting. By the way, just thought we'd throw it in.
Well, I had to get done with Jets Nation first. I'm done now. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
Nothing. Oh, gosh.
Lagares should be in the lineup the next couple of days with the Mets facing left-hand pitchers Saturday and Sunday. Cole Hamels goes tomorrow for the Phillies. Cliff Lee on Sunday. And Kendrick misses outside. Kendrick had 6 strikeouts first time through the batting order, none second time through. Of course, in that 4th inning, he gave up 5 straight hits, but with an enormous cushion to work with, it's hardly a blip for him. Now trying to get through the 5th to qualify for a win. And Lagares takes just outside, 2-2. Eric Young on deck, then Daniel Murphy for the Mets in the home 5th. This has been a place where Kyle Kendrick has really enjoyed pitching. 6 previous games here, a 1.97 ERA. Harris just able to foul off that one.
It was last year he pitched a complete game here, remember? And right here, and his comments in the paper were, you know, in Philly, I've got to be more careful. It's a bandbox. I love pitching here because I can make a mistake. I can throw strikes. It's a big ballpark.
You know, early this season, he gave up a whole bunch of home runs, which is unusual since he's a sinker ball pitcher, and he's given up a home run tonight. Line right center, base hit for Lagares. Nicely done by Lagares. Behind in the count as a pinch hitter. He's going to try for 2, and Mayberry's throw too late. And Lagares has a pinch hit double to start the bottom of the 5th.
Well, nice hustle by Juan. And I tell you what, very difficult circumstances for young Lagares. High fastball. See, that's the pitch I'm talking about. That Ike would have been Ike. That Ike would have pulled that. Lagares goes the opposite field here, and I tell you what, that's good hustle, and he got it easy.
Something we've seen more and more of from Juan, taking that ball to right field, especially with 2 strikes. So the Mets have their 6th hit against Kendrick.
Just noticing that Delman Young in right field, Mayberry in center field, it might present some troubles for the Philadelphia Phillies down the stretch because cannot cover as much ground as, of course, the speedy Revere.
Of course, at home, there's not quite as much ground to cover in Philadelphia. But Ruben Amaro's made no bones about the fact that he's looking for a center fielder. They don't have one in their farm system. They don't have somebody like, you know, a Lagares or a Dendecker who could come in and at least play defense for them. So they are definitely in the market. Eric Young's been hit by a pitch tonight and grounded out 0 for 1. By the way, in that game in Cincinnati where the Reds had a 5-0 lead on the Pirates, solo homers by Starling Marte, Andrew McCutchen, and Russell Martin in the 6th. It's now 5-3.
Wow.
That team looks pretty legit. Now they definitely need another bat. Grounded to short, Lagares will advance as Rollins throws out Young. But they've got the pitching to go a long, long way, that Pirate team.
They certainly do. I was impressed. Their bullpen run is lights out.
But they got some young left-handers that throw hard.
Yeah, they do. Oh, was it Wilson that I liked the most? Kind of 3/4. It was Wilson, and I didn't bring my scorecard from those games.
Who are you asking about?
The Pirates bullpen.
The other lefty,
Wilson
and Watson.
Watson. I think it was Watson that I liked.
Yeah, Watson throws hard.
And of course, with Melanson and Grilli at the end of the game, I mean, those guys have been almost unstoppable. Here's Murphy with a runner at 3rd and 1 out. He chases the changeup.
Melanson was lights out. Lights out.
Good curveball, right?
Oh, razor blade and throwing hard. He would be no fun. That'd be hard work, man. Tough duty.
Murphy's 1 for 2 tonight, singled and scored in the 4th. And he takes that changeup down, a ball and a strike. Kyle Kendrick looking for his 9th win against 6 losses. He had a good start his last start before the All-Star break against Washington. Went 7 strong, allowed a run on 5 hits, a 3-1 win. He's been a guy who's only gotten better. over the course of his career. That'll get a run in. Utley throws out Murphy for the second out as Lagares comes in. It's now 13-4.
Well, the Mets get a run there. Even though the little things are the things you want to look for, the hustle of Lagares manufactures a run.
40th RBI for Murphy. Not happy about it, though. And he shouldn't be. So 2 out and nobody on. Now David Wright, who has taken a call third strike, singled and scored a run, 1 for 2. You know, there was so much talk about David during the All-Star week, and I forgot who it was who said this, but it really is the truth. With David now signed on for 8 years and likely to finish his career as a Met, he is going to be a unique figure in the history of this franchise.
Right.
The ultimate ambassador, not only as a player, but you know, he's going to be, assuming that he plays out his contract, the George Brett type figure for the Mets.
It's
to represent them for all time.
And it's something the Mets organization has never had.
Young throws him out. Side retired. Mets scratch out a run after 5. 13-4 Phillies. Changes for the Mets as we go to the 6th. Eric Young moves from left field to second base. Kirk Neuenhuis moves from center field to left field. Juan Lagares, who pinch hits, stays in the game in center. And Gonzalez Herman makes his Citi Field debut.
Herman has only had 2 appearances lasting an inning, but he's shown a lot of promise. Good sinker, good slider, but his best pitch is his changeup. Uses it at any time.
Well, he was put into a couple of untenable situations. First, on Friday night in his debut, he was brought into a tie game in the 11th. It's a tough way to make your major league debut, and he took the loss in that game. Although he came awfully close to getting out of a jam. He struck out Garrett Jones, but gave up a base hit up the middle to Jordy Mercer that beat him. Not a particularly hard hit ball. And then came in with the bases loaded on Saturday and got a foul pop up from Gabby Sanchez. So he has certainly shown some positive signs. Delman Young will lead off for the Phillies in the 6th inning. Young is 2 for 3. And he takes a strike from Herman. Young, then Mayberry and Ruiz for the Phillies, who have 13 runs and 14 hits. They got 4 in the first, 7 in the third, and 2 more in the 5th. In the even innings, they rest.
Odd even. They're having a Howard Johnson kind of evening.
That's right. Hojo, 89, 91. And Herman strikes out Delman Young. So Herman fans the first man he faces. 1 out and nobody out. Let's check in with the studio. Gary Apple standing by for a game break presented by your Tri Honda dealer.
Good pitch. It's a good pitch down the way, opposite field.
Certainly a better outing for Strasburg than his last one before the break.
Still, Hanley has found his way back.
There's John Mayberry, who's been on base 3 times, single, double, walk. He's driven in 2.
I don't know if it has anything to do with being back at the shortstop position. Who knows? A lot of protection in that lineup also. Puig, Gonzalez. Ethier's been a little better. Kemp's not back. Is he up, Gary?
No.
I think so. Shoulder.
Oh, 2 now to Mayberry. There's the West standings. Nobody has made a particular move, and that's enabled the Dodgers at 500 to be right there. 2.5 behind.
But the Dodgers made a nice move to get there. They were in last place, were they not, for a long time?
Well, it was 2009 that Hanley hit 342 and won the batting title. Then 300, 243, 257. He just wasn't the same player. Quintanilla, who had his errorless streak come to an end in the 4th, unable to handle that ground ball, his second error of the game.
Well, not to beat a dead horse. I don't feel like I'm beating a dead horse because I have to comment on this. He has to rush in to get it on the quick. It's a routine ground ball because he plays so deep. He plays normal depth. He can come in very gathered, slowly move in on the ball, make the routine play. It's a routine grounder.
So 1 out and 1 on. The Mets' 3rd error of the game. And now Carlos Ruiz, who doubled in a run in the 3rd. And he skies one to right. Over toward the line comes Byrd and has room to make the grab. 2 out. So Kyle Kendrick comes up for the 4th time. He has struck out, sacrificed, and grounded out. By the way, this is the Mets' first 3-error game of the season. They had not had more than 2 errors in any game before the All-Star break. Mayberry at first and 2 out. And Kendrick bounces 1 foul. Well, they had to do some re-sodding in foul territory where the All-Star game logos were. So grounds crew had to do a lot of work between Tuesday night and tonight.
And the grounds crew up to the task as usual. They keep this field in impeccable shape.
By the way, might also extend that everybody in the Mets organization worked tremendous hours of overtime and from all accounts put on a tremendous show here over the last 4 or 5 days to bring the baseball world in and really show them a good time. So congratulations to everybody in the Mets organization for a job excellently done. 1-2 and Kendrick lifts one to right and Byrd back astride, side retired, an error and 1 left, middle of the 6th at Citi Field, 13-4 Phillies. was a very special week in the life of young Matt Harvey. 2 scoreless innings in the All-Star game on Tuesday night, and afterward asked about what the highlight of his All-Star experience was.
Meeting everybody, being in the locker room. You know, it's playing with David. You know, that was the biggest thing, and you know, I think as a kid you dream of sitting on the side as home run derby's going on, and you know, that was an awesome event. The support that was given in the red carpet, you know, that was undescribable, and this whole experience has just been, you know, breathtaking.
And first time in the All-Star game, and it's in your home ballpark, and you get to be the starting pitcher.
Only 4 other pitchers have ever started an All-Star game with less than a year experience. Surreal, I'm sure.
And it was fun to watch because we saw so much of what we've seen in Matt Harvey during the regular season. He gave up the leadoff double in the walk, and then unperturbed found his way out of trouble.
I mean, at some point you're a little kid and you said, boy, someday I'll pitch in New York and I'll start the All-Star game. Well, already happened. How? Now where'd he go?
Well, he's branching out.
Okay.
Byrd goes down on strikes. That's strikeout number 7 for Kendrick, 1 shy of his career high. Well, Matt Harvey wasn't the only one with an All-Star game experience. Let's check in with Kevin.
Yeah, I talked to a bunch of Mets and got their plans today, Gary, and I thought it was pretty cool for Dave Hudgens. You know, he stayed here with his 14-year-old son, Brock, and went to the events as a fan. For the Home Run Derby and for the All-Star game, he was up in the Pepsi ports sitting with everyone else. I said, you know, did you come down? Did you use your credentials to come down the field at all? He said, nope. This was just about, you know, spending time with my son and just really enjoying the moment. He said the best part for me after it was all done, you know, his son had to go home. Of course, Hudgens had to stay here and work. Said he got a text yesterday. Said, Dad, thanks. I'll never forget that. You know, it's pretty cool for Dave Hudgens to kind of have that and step away for just a moment, guys.
Well, it's hard for people who aren't in the game to understand how important the All-Star break is for players, coaches, and their families.
Especially now the coaches spend so much time at the ballpark. 12 to 12 is their shift every single day, and a lot of those years lost seeing their children. That's just how it is.
Ike Davis pokes one toward the middle, and he has his second hit of the night right off the end of the bat on the changeup. And the Mets have their 7th hit against Kendrick. So Davis is 2 for 3.
Split finger here, Keith.
Stayed back. See how he's staying back at least out in front.
See that ball vibrate the end of the bat, but snuck into center field.
So 1 out and 1 on. And now John Buck, the batter. Buck is flying deep to left and single to center, 1 for 2. You know, Matt was talking about his experiences and being in the clubhouse and the red carpet and all that, and it's been a very eventful week for Matt. But I think that for me, watching his Jimmy Fallon interviewing of the fans was an absolute riot. I mean, I don't know how many people here have not seen that, but you know, Matt went around town and interviewed a bunch of fans about Matt Harvey, and you know, you don't know how they edited the piece, but still, the fans in the piece, it was really hilarious. Had no idea who Matt was, and I thought he handled it perfectly.
And my favorite was when he would ask a question and say, "What's your favorite thing about watching Matt Harvey pitch?" They would say what their favorite thing was, and he would go, "Thank you."
I like the last kid that was a little bookish.
Who was wearing the Harvey jersey?
No. It was a young kid, the baby-faced kid that was kind of a little bookwormish, and said, he asked him if he deserved to start the All-Star game. He said no. He hasn't been around long enough. I loved it.
Well, I think Lucas Duda probably enjoyed the guy who's, you know, Harvey asked who's your favorite player, and the guy said Lucas Duda.
That's right.
Well, it's always interesting when you get a young player who becomes a big star all of a sudden, and that has certainly happened over the last 12 months for Matt Harvey. And that one gets behind Ruiz, but Davis down by 9 runs, not going to take any chances. see what Matt has accomplished in terms of strikeouts before the All-Star break.
Look at Seaver. Jeez. But that was a season and was starting a lot earlier then, right, Gare? Back in 1970?
Yeah, there have been a lot of records for, before the All-Star break stuff set this year.
Yeah,
but the season starts early. The All-Star break is the latest I can ever remember it being. But taking all that with a grain of salt, still an incredibly impressive first half for Matt Harvey.
As Buck takes one down the right field line, and that's a fair ball. Going to the corner, Davis to third. He'll be held up there. And John Buck has his second hit of the night, an opposite field double. So Buck finally finding his rhythm after a couple of cold months. Has taken the ball to center and to right tonight for a couple of hits.
No, he's going the other way. And let's see, this ball's got to be right on the chalk. No, just inside.
So the Mets have runners at second and third with one out, and Kirk Neuenhuis coming up. I started to say before about Matt Harvey, anytime you get a young player who becomes a star very quickly in New York, it becomes a tough balancing act for that player in terms of taking advantage of the opportunities that are presented to you and knowing when to pull back a little bit. And I think that's exactly where Matt Harvey finds himself right now, as Neuenhuis takes inside ball one.
You're right. It's unique, not only to be have a great first half in New York City. It's different than any other place, right. And I include Los Angeles or Chicago or any of those places. It's just it's national straight away.
And, Matt has made it clear that he not only wants to be a great player, he wants to be the best player. And, with that come a lot of opportunities. Now, you were a young player. You were on the cover of GQ magazine. You know what that's like.
Yeah, but I certainly didn't have the confidence that Matt has. Those things came because I was half decent, but I played on a world championship team. I knew that was the only reason it came my way. He's Fernando Valenzuela-like. I don't even know if was Seaver like that his first year after his first year. I don't think so.
The world was different then.
Yeah, you're right.
The opportunities now and the exposure is so much greater than it ever could have been for Seaver or even for Doc.
Right. And even for Valenzuela. And Matt's going to have to be careful.
You know what? I don't mean to compare them in terms of their career at all, because obviously it's so far down the road to think about this. But you know who Matt most reminds me of in terms of the way he has taken the town by storm and taken advantage of everything available to him? It's more like a Namath or a Clyde Frazier. That's the kind of role that it appears that he's envisioning. So, sometimes it's hard to know where to draw the line. Outside, ball four, and the Mets have the bases loaded. Well, there's the first walk of the night issued by Kendrick. They're your National League ERA leaders, brought to you by Time Warner Cable.
Well, Kershaw, just arguably the best pitcher in baseball, certainly in the National League. He has done it too many years now. He's solid.
Matt will make his first start out of the break on Sunday afternoon. Kendrick up to 93 pitches. The Phillies have the bullpen working now. Quintanilla back to the bases full. And Omar takes a strike. While McGarris is hitting in the number 9 spot, he's waiting on deck.
So far, the pitch that has given Quintanilla the most trouble has been that split finger or changeup. It's hard for him to lay off that pitch, especially out of the strike zone.
Davis at third, Buck at second, and Neuenhuis at first with one out. Mets were down 11-0 in this game before they got their footing. They scored in each of the last 2 innings, trying to get to Kendrick again here in the 6th. Luis Garcia, who was called up shortly before the All-Star break, up in the Phillies bullpen. It's been a revolving door in that Phillies pen this year, other than the 2 guys at the end of the game, Bastardo and Papelbon. Slowly hit. Ruff on the backhand, goes to second and gets a force as a run comes home. Davis scores to make it 13-5. RBI for Quintanilla, his 14th.
Well, a little backhand here, kind of routine play, and you know what? I've seen a lot of first basemen that are not accomplished that would get the easy out at first. But you know what? That leaves 2 runners in scoring position, so you always want to get that lead runner.
So the Mets have scored in 3 straight innings, still 8 runs down. Juan Lagares came up as a pinch hitter in the 5th, doubled to right center and scored a run. Now bats with 1st and 3rd and 2 out. And flies one down the right field line. A long one back toward the corner for Young, and it's a foul ball. Just barely missed the line. Lagares came that close to a 2-run double or triple.
Well, I'll tell you what. Delman Young out there does not move. He's not fleet of foot. Not by much, huh, Garrett? Oh, boy.
Good call by the first base umpire, Will Little, who was a rookie. Our first look at him, but he was right on that play.
Interesting little points of leadership. Lagares came back after just missing that double. Eric Young picked up his bat, gave it to him, and gave him a little smack and said, "Come on, kid." Interesting.
Mets are 1 for 9 with runners in scoring position tonight. Lagares looking for a 2-out hit to at least get Buck home from 3rd. Now he finds himself in a 0-2 hole. Buck at 3rd, Quintanilla at 1st with 2 down. Kendrick's 100th pitch of the night is down low. Changeup, 1-2. Lagares takes just inside. Cutter by Kendrick, 2-2.
The old front door slider. It's a pitch that Kendricks likes to throw to right-handers.
He's calling David Wright in the 1st inning. David's first at bat. That ball missed though inside.
Now the 2-2. And Lagares pounds that one foul.
Well, they're pounding Lagares in here. Tell you what, with this humidity and heat, didn't have to work out today. We're sweating all the impurities out in the booth.
You're assuming there's lots of impurities.
Up the middle, and Lagares has an RBI hit. Buck comes in to score, and the Philly lead is now 13-6.
Oh, nice at bat by Juan. Young Juan, 2 for 2 on the day, a double his first at bat. Stayed in the game. And that's going to be all for Kendrick.
So the Mets fell behind 11-0 in this game, and they're still down by 7, but not letting up against Kendrick. Lagares fell behind in the count 0-2. Winds up with a base hit up the middle for his 2nd hit of the night. Phillies go to the bullpen, 13-6. They lead in the 6th. We'll be right back to Citi Field. comes on to pitch for the Phillies.
Well, he wasn't even on the roster this year when he was picked up from the Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs. It was 3 for 3 in saves, replaced Philippe Aumont, who was sent down.
He'd been through the Dodgers and Nationals organization before the Phillies picked him up. Quintanilla at second, Lagares at first, 2 out. The Mets have 2 runs home here in the 6th as they try and creep a little closer. Eric Young up for the 4th time. He's been hit by a pitch and grounded out twice. The Phillies 13 runs, 14 hits. The Mets 6 runs and 9 hits on a steamy night at Citi Field. And Young takes the loan away from Garcia, who's been averaging about 95 with his fastball through his first 2 outings. Josh Satin has come out on deck with the pitcher due up next. The Mets are playing with a 4-man bench right now because they have 13 pitchers. They've used Lagares and leaves them with Satin, Brown, and Record. And now Garcia behind 2-0.
Well, this Philly bullpen is outside of Papelbon, who's kind of struggled on the stretch run there to the All-Star break, kind of limped in. But Bastardo's been good. Everybody else has just been kind of a revolving doors.
Well, they had Mike Adams, who they thought was going to be a very big piece of their bullpen, but he's hurt now, and that has certainly hurt the Phillies' cause. And we saw it the last time the Mets played the Phillies in Philadelphia, and the Mets were able to take advantage of the Philly bullpen repeatedly. This is not their strength. Garcia's come in and fallen behind Young 3-0, and Eric takes a strike.
And who Garcia replaced, Philippe Aumont, that's a former #1 pick, a guy that they thought was someday going to be maybe a closer for them, but could not throw strikes.
Three and one now to Young, and Eric takes outside, and the bases are loaded. Well, this game could change in an awful hurry.
It could.
This is a game the Mets trailed 11-0. There's 7 runs down. They have the bases loaded. One big swing here, and the Mets are right back in the game. Josh Satin will be the pinch hitter. Satin tore it up in the month leading up to the All-Star break. Played on Sunday in Pittsburgh, went 1 for 3 and a walk, and that's basically the way he has been going, getting on base a couple of times every time he plays.
A little triple here, a big double right here. Brand new ball game.
Satin is 2 for 5 as a pinch hitter, and of course he's got a terrific eye at the plate with the bases loaded. And he takes a strike. I think about the only criticism you can level at Josh is that sometimes he's a little too patient. He's taken a number of call third strikes.
Well, probably down in the minor leagues, he gets a little more credit from the umpires. Certainly don't know about Josh Satin here.
Satin, the 8th man up in the inning. David Wright looming on deck. So this is an enormous batter in this game. If Satin can get on and give David a chance in this inning, all of a sudden the Mets will have something going for them. But out of the strike zone, and Ruiz is going to run it out to Garcia. So Luis Garcia has come in, walked Eric Young, got 2-1 now on Satin with the bases full. The Mets have hit 4 grand slams this year. Satin who hit his first major league home run on the Mets' last homestand. I think they did quite as well against the right-handers as he has against the lefties. Now the 2-1, and Satin bounces one slowly. In comes Young, and he throws him out to end the inning. So the Mets settle for 2 runs and still trail 13-6. Heat index over 100. Makes for a steamy night for fan and player alike.
Yep.
Get those cabbage leaves. Stick them in your cap.
It's not a night when you want to have a lot of makeup on. I wouldn't recommend it.
There you go.
A little personal cooling device.
The New York thing, though, is the little square white towel wet on your shoulder. There anytime you need it.
Scott Rice will be the Mets' 5th pitcher of the night as we go to the 7th.
Well, Scott Rice appeared in every single ball game in the first half, so why not in the second half? 4.41 ERA. Still, the walks have been high.
It has been exactly a week since Rice's last outing. Struck out Pedro Alvarez last Friday night. And now he'll face the top of the Phillies batting order as we go to the 7th.
You know, in St. Louis, and we all know how hot St. Louis can get. What was the best thing?
Rollins drills it to left, but Neuenhuis right there, 1 out.
The best for hot days was that our trainers, and was Bob Bowman was the trainer emeritus, who was an unusual era trainer. He was in his 70s, well in his 70s. Buckets of ice water, Gary, in the dugout with ammonia in it. And then you dip a towel in the ammonia water, dry it off, and they put it on the back of your neck, and you put it over your face and breathe the ammonia. And I tell you what, it just cleared your pores up and got rid of all the sweat. It was the most exhilarating thing on a hot day.
And then you can go clean your kitchen.
Well, Ronnie would have broke the Perel out.
You snap too, though, don't you, Keith, when you take that big breath in? Usually they tell you to take 2 deep breaths in. Remember Steve Garland did that here during the 80s?
And it's knocked down by Rice. Somehow he got his glove up, and he throws out Michael Young. Well, nice reaction by Rice. That was a bullet.
So 2 hard hit balls off Rice. Oh, he did. Good reaction.
Boy, both the hands went up. Thank God it only hit the leather, right?
I mean, is your first reaction there protect your face? Is that why both hands go up?
When you see it off the bat, and it's hard to really tell people, when you see it off the bat, it looks like it's coming right at your noggin. So you are just trying to get everything that you have in front of you, like you said, to either block it, catch it, whatever. There's some that honestly just catch you. You put your glove up, it goes in the glove, you go, boy, I can't believe it.
Dylan G's had 2 of those
Yeah.
his last 2 starts. Bullets right back at him that just found his glove. Big night for Chase Utley, a triple and a 2-run homer. He's driven in 3 tonight. And right to the bag for Ike Davis. So Rice comes in, throws 6 pitches, has himself a 1-2-3 inning. Hard hit balls notwithstanding. 7th inning stretch. Phillies by 7.
come on and work a very effective, very quick inning. Getting some thoughts from the Mets and players and coaches what they did over the All-Star break. Well, Scott Rice just enjoyed New York City. You know, he and his wife just kind of roamed around and really got time to explore. He said, you know, lunch in Central Park, went down and had some food at some good restaurants in the meatpacking district down at Pier 66. He said he just really never had a chance to do that. Probably won't. And we thought about going away, but that was a lot of fun. He said one night had a dinner with David Aardsma. Aardsma, by the way, had some fun too. He actually went to the Fan Fest with his wife at one point. I said, what? He said, yep, went. Didn't sign an autograph, no pictures, just went incognito and enjoyed it. Did do a spot on radio while he was there, but that was it. The other thing David Aardsma did, guys, he photobombed Geico Sports Night with SNY. He was behind the SNY studios on 6th Avenue, and one of those people jumping up and down as they were going to a commercial. I said, did anyone recognize you? He said, no, I just was there and kind of wanted to do it. Go back up to you.
Funny. Always wondered who those people were. Tough play for Young coming on toward the line, and he runs down David Wright's pop-up for the first out.
There's so many other things to do in New York.
You think?
I had to do a thing at the Fan Fest, guys, where I was with kids and their parents, and we were playing a wiffle ball game. It's only a half-hour wiffle ball game. So the kids hit off a tee. They scored all the time, every run. Parents came up. Parents couldn't be nicer. Laid it in there. One guy, of course, there's always that guy, got up and gave me the Ruthian point to center field. Like it was going to take me deep, so I drilled him. It was the greatest thing that happened in the whole wiffle ball. Drilled hard, too. As hard as you can with a wiffle ball. It's great.
I would have come out the backyard to see that one running.
Now, were you spinning the wiffle ball?
No, it was the folks are having a tough enough time with the straight floater.
Marlon Byrd hit a 3-run homer for the Mets' first 3 runs. That was in the 4th inning, his 16th of the year. In Washington, Andre Ethier just led off the 9th inning with a home run against Rafael Soriano to put the Dodgers in front of the Nats 3-2. Dodgers trying to get above 500, and if the Nats lose, they're back to 500. 3-0 to Byrd with Ike Davis on deck. Jake Diekman, the next man up in the Phillies bullpen, as Luis Garcia works here in the 7th. And Byrd takes a strike. Well, Kyle Kendrick's line, not one that you normally associate with a winning pitcher. 5 2/3, 6 runs, 9 hits, a walk, 7 strikeouts, a hit batsman and a home run, but always good to play on the night when your team scores 13. And there's ball 4 and Byrd is on. Second walk given up by Garcia. You could win a trip for 4 to Universal Orlando Resort. Enjoy all the action and fun of Universal's 2 amazing theme parks and stay on site at the electrifying Hard Rock Hotel. Just go to sny.tv/Toyota and enter the Toyota Fan Flyaway Sweepstakes for your chance to win. Ike Davis is 2 for 3, single to right, single to center. He scored a run. 1 out and 1 on in the 7th. And he hits one toward the middle. There's Rollins to pick it up. Steps and fires for the 6-6-3 double play. That retires the side. Through 7 at Citi Field. Phillies by 7. As you drive around the majors, presented by Kia. They had to hog-tie Derek Jeter to convince him to go on the DL today for the second time. But they're going to get Alex Rodriguez back Monday. Yankees are down to the Red Sox 4-2 in the 8th. The Braves on a 3-run homer by Brian McCann up on the White Sox 5-2 as they play now in the 8th. And we mentioned the home run by Andre Ethier putting the Dodgers in front of the Nats 3-2 in the 9th. Dominic Brown leads off in the 8th inning against Scott Rice, who threw just 6 pitches to get through a 1-2-3 7th inning, so he stays on for the 8th. Mets have had to use tons of bullpen tonight because Jeremy Hefner lasted just 2 innings plus, allowed 8 runs and 10 hits.
Well, Burke ate up 2 2/3 of those innings. He's the most worked the most out of the pen thus far.
There's Jeremy, whose ERA went from 3.33 to 3.93 with tonight's difficult start.
Tough day at the office for the young Oklahoma Sooner.
Dominic Brown has 3 of the Phillies' 14 hits, 2 singles, and his 24th home run of the year. That came in the 3rd inning. Darren Ruff on deck, and then Delman Young to the Phils in the 8th. Phillies have beat the Mets 6 of 9 this year. The first time the Phillies were here this year was in late April. Right before the Phillies got here, the Mets had gotten off to a good start in April. And Brown is hit by the pitch.
Ouch.
Almost swung the bat, by the way. And they should check it at third. And the third base umpire says that's a swing. So he's going to come back. Mark Wagner said he did swing. So despite being hit by the pitch, Brown will continue the at bat with a 2nd strike.
Supposed to be a slider.
Hey, that's not a swing either. Jeez, he's trying to get out of the way of the ball.
No argument from the Phillies. And Brown hits one out to center. And Lagares is there. 1 away. Anyway, the first time the Phillies were here, the Mets had gotten off to a good start. They played the Dodgers, and they lost the last game of that series. And then the Phillies came in. The Mets were right at 500, and the Phillies swept the Mets in that series and really sent them on what turned out to be a tailspin that lasted most of May and June. Remember, right after they got swept by the Phillies, they went to Miami and they played that 15-inning game that they lost, and then they lost the next day to the Marlins, and it kind of tumbled down from there. Terry Collins out to make a double switch. Rice has retired all 4 of his batters. Ike Davis coming out on the double switch. We'll pick up the rest of it when we come back. Which Andrew Brown will come in to make his first ever big league appearance at first base. He'll bat number 2 where the pitcher had been, and David Aardsma goes in the 5 spot as Ike Davis comes out.
Well, it's been a popular call for Terry Collins right before the break. 4 days, pitched 4 innings for the Mets.
By the way, we mentioned Andrew Brown, his first ever big league appearance at first. He played plenty of first base in the minor leagues, 243 games, including 4 this year for Las Vegas, so he's not unfamiliar with that spot. Darren Ruff the batter, and he takes up and away. So the Mets on their 6th pitcher of the night. Scott Rice retired all 4 to face him. Delman Young up behind Ruff in the Phillies batting order. Ruff is 2 for 4 tonight, a single and a double, and he scored 2 runs. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. And Ruff hits one out to center. Lagares moves over. 2 out. So Aardsma retires his first hitter.
Aardsma has been throwing, I think, very well. I think someone that has in the Mets plans for next year.
Well, like so many of these Mets relievers, you have to wonder whether there's going to be a way to temper their use to be able to let them be effective over the course of the season.
Well, they had some ineffectiveness in that bullpen, so whoever was called up became the new favorite of Terry Collins.
Well, we said it right from the time that Aardsma arrived. You know, here's a guy who has had a lot of success in the past. He's 2 years removed from surgery. This may be the right moment for him. But it's hard for him to pitch 2, 3, 4 days in a row because, after all, he is back from Tommy John surgery and hip surgery.
Well, same thing happened with Atchison earlier in the season. Got to be careful with these guys. It's almost 2 days is the most, is the max. I think if they pitch 2 days, that's almost an automatic 3rd day. The problem is the Mets have a tendency to play extra inning games, and that has put the relievers in harm's way. You have to use someone at some point.
0-2 to Delman Young. And then the other piece is they've had to pull Carlos Torres, who was effective for multiple innings, out of the bullpen to put him in the rotation.
Yes.
To replace Sean Markham. Torres will pitch Tuesday night against the Braves. So now the guy who could really be the innings eaters in those long games is no longer in your bullpen.
So it raises an interesting question. If Carlos Torres is in the bullpen, do you allow Hefner to go as long as he did today, being ineffective? Maybe you go to Torres earlier.
Well, you could have made the case that Torres could have been available tonight out of the bullpen since he doesn't pitch until Tuesday. But the Mets decided to give him that time. Young with a 2-out hit. 3rd hit of the night for Delman Young, and the Phillies' 15th of the game.
Well, Young can't field too much. He's not always a fan favorite, but he can rake. And usually his history is that he gets better as the season goes along.
Just one more note about the Mets bullpen usage, and that is as we move down the stretch of the season and they start to shave innings off Matt Harvey's starts, and you can be certain they're going to be careful with Zach Wheeler as well. You might not have starters going as deep into games as you normally would, and that's going to put more pressure on the bullpen as well.
So it makes you wonder, doesn't it? The old days when you had 10 pitchers, only 5 in the bullpen, and how did I mean, there were other teams that had a rash of extra inning games. How was it? I know the starters went longer.
Well, the expectations were different.
You know, how was it managed?
Well, they managed starters going 8 or 9 innings most days.
Well, in this type of ball game also, you might see a pitcher have to give it up for the team and go 4 1/3, 5 innings.
A Sean Markham-like relief out.
Yeah.
Well, that 26 inning game that I played in,
25.
Remember, Claude Osteen came in early and went 9 innings of 3-hit shutout ball.
Jerry Cram threw 8 scoreless for the Mets in that game. John Mayberry 2 for 3. He's driven in 2 runs tonight. Takes a big whack and fouls it back. It's a final in Washington. Dodgers beat the Nats 3-2. Kenley Jansen came in to save it.
So the Phillies will move ahead a half game into second place if they hang on to this game.
Nats are down to 500, and the Dodgers now over 500.
What are the Bravos up?
Terrible start.
What are the Bravos up to? They're winning in the 8th, 5-2. The White Sox.
Tim Hudson's still in that game at the bottom of the 8th. 2-1 to Mayberry, and the breaking ball fouled off. A revision.
Well, they're expensive, so
from Bay to Buck.
That's, you know what?
That's New York ingenuity right there.
You got it.
We got the Carter T-shirt underneath.
Yes.
I bet they're not defacing that one.
No. That's hallowed ground.
Strike 3 call. Mayberry caught looking. So Ardsma comes in and gets a couple of outs. We go to the bottom of the 8th with the Mets down 13-6. By Time Warner Cable. Watch more sports on more devices in the house than anyone else. Call 1-800-TW-CABLE. Time Warner Cable. Enjoy sports better. By Xerox. With Xerox, you're ready for real business. And by the Hyundai 100,000 Reasons event, now through July 31st. Our next SNY telecast will be on Monday night when the Mets open their series here at Citi Field against the Braves. Coverage begins Monday at 6 o'clock right here on SNY. That's Dylan G's first start out of the All-Star break. G got himself back to 500 for the year by winning on Sunday.
What a great comeback, right? Considering where he was to get to not only 500, 7 wins. It's a nice first half. Build on for the second half.
Another good night at the plate for John Buck as Jake Diekman comes in to pitch the bottom of the 8th for the Phillies. Buck with a single and a double tonight. And you see the numbers for Diekman.
Got a pretty good fastball slider pitcher. 2 pitches.
See, the number is very effective against lefties, not so much against righties, and Buck might have hurt himself on that last swing. And so Ray Ramirez and Terry Collins come out to see.
He pointed or felt his back right hamstring.
Big swing as usual.
Stumbled a little bit as he came out of that swing.
Yep, a little grimace.
Yeah, you can see him grabbing it.
Hopefully it's just a cramp.
Those can happen in the hot weather, right, Keith?
Especially with the catcher squatting for the last 8 innings.
Hopefully it's just a cramp. Yep, he's just trying to get rid of that little knot.
Well, you would have to think Buck's going to get the day off tomorrow anyway, with a day game after a night game in this very hot weather. I was frankly a little bit surprised, and I asked Terry about it, that he didn't keep Recker and Hefner together, because they had been doing such a nice job together. I think Recker had caught 4 straight starts for Hefner before tonight. But I think that Terry just liked the fact that Buck was hot before the break with the bat.
Hot before the break, and then the numbers against Kendrick. Right-handers hit him better than left-handers. John with a couple of hits tonight.
Off the end of the bat, and Buck not running particularly well. And thrown out by Utley for the first out.
The All-Star break too, Gary. You just don't, John's had 4 days off, and you don't want him to get 5 days off. He's going to catch. He's your everyday catcher.
So 1 out. We'll see whether John's okay to catch the 9th inning.
He's walking fine.
Here's Neuenhuis, who's 0 for 2 and a walk tonight, and a rough go of it in center field the first few innings of this game. Not that it would have made a whole lot of difference in Jeremy Hefner's night the way he was going, but Kirk got slow starts on 1 ball hit over his head and a couple of balls where he had to come into shallow right center or left center. Final in Boston, Red Sox beat the Yankees 4-2. Felix Dubron 6 1/3 for the win. So the Yankees now 7 behind the Red Sox.
Wow.
I mean, that's a big series for the Yankees. They can't get swept up there. Buck strapping on the catching gear, getting ready to go. 3-0 now to Neuenhuis.
Ray Ramirez right next to him, making sure that John's answering all the questions correctly.
Should be hydrating.
Right.
Should be having a little Gatorade. Electrolytes.
Keith, do you remember the salt tablets we used to take on days like this?
I never took them.
Really?
They upset my stomach.
Now, what was the theory of the salt tablet?
Well, that you were lacking, that as it was going out your pores on a very hot day. I remember it more in football than baseball.
Salt, you retain water when you have lots of salt.
Did it work?
I always got upset stomachs on them.
But I mean,
I never took them.
But nobody uses salt tablets anymore. I guess sports drinks have kind of made those obsolete. Here's your AT&T trivia question for tonight. In which season did the Mets finish with their best second half record? So that's the best winning percentage in the second half. Now, by second half, do we mean after the All-Star break, or do we mean the statistical second half? I think we mean after the All-Star break.
I have to say 86?
Yep, no, 69. They won every game down the stretch, didn't
they had a really rough time between the All-Star break in the middle of August. So I don't know if that made up for it. It's a really interesting question.
I don't think 88 is it, because we had to really kick it in gear late. No, 88 we won 100 games.
104.
100 that year. We won 108 in 86, but you guys were dominant in the first half. It's a great question.
87 was the year.
Honestly, it could be a team that had a bad first half and just recovered somehow, some way.
What was the year that Davey left us in L.A. and Buddy took over as interim manager? Remember when he made the big clubhouse meeting that Mookie was going to play every day?
Quintanilla drives one into right for a base hit. Neuenhuis will go first to third. Quintanilla holds on at first base. And the Mets have runners at the corners with 1 out.
You remember that, Ronnie?
Is it 91?
No. I was there.
Oh. I don't remember what year that was.
Well, Quintanilla gets himself a base hit. He was 0 for 3. That gets his second half started.
So now Juan Lagares comes up, and Lagares, coming off the bench, has had a very nice night. Came up as a pinch hitter in the 5th, doubled to right center and scored. Then in the 6th, he singled to center to drive in a run. Mets now with 10 hits, but still 7 runs shy in the 8th inning. Facing the left-hander Jake Diekman, Lagares takes a fastball for a strike. Well, 1986, you guys had your best first half.
Yeah.
You were 59-25 at the All-Star break in '86. So, doing the math, that means you won 49 games the second half. Slow bouncer, and Diekman's going to go to second, and just got the out. Took his time, kind of lollipopped it there, and just got the force on Quintanilla as Nieuwenhuis held at third.
That was almost like a short putt for a birdie.
Almost had the yips, you mean? It was almost like he wasn't sure that he should go to second. Okay, let's try it.
Oh, my God. That was Archie Bell if I ever saw one.
Lovely's foot behind the bag and kind of scrapes it over the top of it.
So a 1-4 fielder's choice for the second out, and now Eric Young will bat right-handed for the first time tonight. Young's reached base twice tonight. Seems like he reaches base twice every game. Came into the night with a .380 on base percentage. A hit by pitch and a walk tonight, 0 for 2. First and third and 2 out. And he takes up and away for ball 1. Diekman throwing hard, 96.
About 06, the team had to play hard the whole season.
Justin DeFreitas up in the Phillies bullpen. How many wins in 06? I mean, they won by so many games that year.
What? When? In
06?
2006.
Oh.
Hit sharply, but right at Utley.
Oh, tough play.
And he takes care of Young to end the inning. So the Mets strand 2 more. We head for the 9th at Citi Field. It's been all Phillies tonight. Zach Wheeler coming off that great start against the Giants goes against Cole Hamels, who's pitched much better lately. And then Sunday, a marquee matchup. Matt Harvey and Cliff Lee, 2 of the best in the game, go head to head. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. Best second half for the Mets ever? 1969.
Yeah.
They were 38-11 down the stretch, which means they were what, 9-12 before that, but still enough for the best ever.
That's quite a second half.
38-11 to close it out.
Wow. Now, the second best second half was in 1988. That year you started 30-11, but then went 41-41 in the middle, and then finished 29-8, which is pretty good. to get to 100 wins.
I think that was the year.
Well, you were hurt in the middle of the year.
Yes, I was.
Nice short hop pickup by Wright, and he throws out Ruiz, one out at the top of the ninth.
Well, 88, I never got better. That was the hamstring year, my first injury.
Interesting about David defensively, coming in on that bare hand play. It's one of the best. That play is becoming one of the best also, that in between hop.
Lance Nix will now be the pinch hitter. Nix has had 43 pinch hit at bats already this year. That's a ton. 10 pinch hits. And those 43 at bats. The Phillies scored 4 runs in the first, and it's 7 in the third to go up 11-0. And as the Mets have tried to peck away, the Phillies have cruised ever since. David Aardsma, who worked 2/3 of an inning in the 8th, trying to finish things out for the Mets.
Well, I tell you what, the Mets didn't lay down and die. They were actually 1 2-out hit away from getting back in the ball game. That's when Satin came up as a pinch hitter in the 6th with the bases loaded and 2 outs.
Notice that all the Mets relievers, Byrd did it and Aardsma did it right there. They're all like LaTroy Hawkins, quick pitching occasionally.
Maybe that'll be LaTroy's legacy, like Jason Isringhausen's legacy was the Parnell knuckle curve.
Harvey and Ike on the bench, close friends on this ball club.
I think Ike is friends with everybody.
Yeah, he is. He's a friendly guy.
He is probably, I mean, David's the leader, but he's a little older. Davis is the most universally liked player in that clubhouse. Swing and a miss, and Nix is out on strike. Second strikeout for Aardsma. Let's check in with the studio, see what's coming up on WB Mesa postgame live. Chris Carlin, Bobby O, and Bobby V, guys. That is some full house in that studio, let me tell you.
Bobby always has, Bobby Valentine, BV, always has that grin on his face. Bobby was one of the best third base coaches I ever had on a team. Him and Buddy Harrelson replaced Bobby, and Buddy was outstanding also.
Joe Savory, Justin DeFreitas up in the bullpen for the Phillies. 6th plate appearance for Jimmy Rollins, who got the whole thing started with a base hit against Jeremy Hefner to open the first inning. Phillies would score 4 in that inning, 7 more in the third. Here's Ryan Howard on the disabled list after surgery for a torn meniscus in his knee. 6 to 8 weeks, which seems excessive, doesn't it? Meniscus is usually a 3 to 4 week deal, but he's a big man, and I'm sure there was a lot of damage in that knee, and he's not going to be back until probably September.
He was basically running gingerly ever since coming off that surgery for the Achilles tendon.
Talk about as Rollins takes a strike 2 and 2. Talk about a terrible way to end the season. The image of him lying in the first baseline as the Phillies season came to an end.
And St. Louis on the field celebrating. That was the surreal part of it. One of the best matchups you'll ever see. Chris Carpenter just besting Roy Halladay 1-0.
And of course, the Cardinals, Ryan Howard's hometown team. That's where he grew up. Which made it even more surreal for him. 3-2 to Rollins, and he pops one foul and out play.
Now, occasionally when you do around the majors, Gary, I'm not quite have the headset on, but did I see that Chris Carpenter is going to take a start in AAA?
Well, you know, he's coming back from the same surgery that Sean Markham just had. That's thoracic outlet syndrome, and he was ruled out for the year. But, you know, when we were in St. Louis, we saw him throwing bullpen sessions and getting himself to the point where he could make a comeback. There's strike 3 called, and Rollins not quite believing it, but that's 3 strikeouts in relief for Hardsma. We go to the bottom of the 9th at Citi Field. Final call for the Mets. There's a great shot from the Shea Bridge as we go to the bottom of the 9th inning. The Mets, who came off a 6-3 road trip, starting a homestand to begin the post All-Star break portion of their season, and you can see the contrast between what they've done on the road this year and what they have failed to accomplish here at home.
Not even close.
Terry's reading it and weeping.
This got him taking his hat off, scratching his head.
Justin DeFreitas will try and close it out for the Phillies.
See his numbers again, the musical chairs of that bullpen for the Phillies. When's the music going to stop?
Andrew Brown up for the first time, came on a double switch, and is playing first base for the first time in his major league career. Brown's hit all 3 of his home runs against left-handers, now facing the right-hander DeFreitas. Here in the 9th, David Wright on deck, and then Marlon Byrd. And DeFreitas finds the outside corner, a ball and a strike. Kyle Kendrick went 5 2/3, allowed 6 runs and 9 hits, but on this night, that's going to be enough for Kendrick to get his 9th win of the year, unless the Mets have a big rally in them here in the 9th. Luis Garcia went an inning and a third hitless, as Brown hits one up the middle, and he's got a base hit to start the last of the 9th. So the Mets have their 11th hit of the game, and David Wright will come up with a man on. David tonight is 1 for 4. With David having started the All-Star game on Tuesday night, he's now started 5 games at third base for the National League. There are only 3 players who have started more All-Star games at third base for the National League.
And David drives one to deep left field. Back goes Brown, out the wall. It's out of here. Number 14 for David Wright, a 2-run shot. And now it's 13-8.
home run derby didn't mess up his swing.
No, it did not. 2 knocks tonight, including that monster shot.
Well, you're seeing in spades here the Phillies' weakness in their bullpen. David just getting one inner half and launching on it.
Well, in a game where Charlie Manuel once had an 11-0 lead, he didn't dream that he'd have to get Jonathan Papelbon up in the bullpen. Here's Marlon Byrd, a 3-run homer tonight, 1 for 3. Anthony Recker has come out on deck to bat for the pitcher, who is up next. Breaking ball sits high, 2-0. Mets with their second home run of the game. Log on to SNY.TV/Dwayne Reed to print out your coupon for $5 off Crest 3D white strips. Redeemable at any Dwayne Reed or Walgreens store. 2-0 to Byrd. And a big cut, 2-1. Recker is the last man left on Terry Collins' bench. And Byrd takes a strike, 2-2. Now the 2-2 to Marlon, and the off-speed pitch fouled off. Well, there is Jonathan Papelbon at the ready. You'd have to figure when it's 11-0, if you're the closer, you kind of tuck your glove away and say, I'll wait till tomorrow. But maybe not the case.
Start doing your emails, take care of business.
Get a manicure.
Yeah,
haircut.
Future flights, train rides.
If he walks this guy, it's a fine. Should be a fine.
He's already given up a single and a 2-run homer here in the ninth.
5-run lead. Fine.
So fastball right there. Could have back-to-back.
Now the 3-2, and it's fouled back. He threw him a fastball. Third straight year that DeFreitas has had time with the Phillies. Trying to stick around for good. Hasn't helped his cause so far. His 30th appearance. That home run was only the second he's allowed this year. 8th pitch coming to Marlon, and it's strike 3 call. And Marlon thought he had ball 4, but Tim Timmons punches him out as he punched out Jimmy Rollins at the top of the inning.
Did he drop a whole breaking ball on him?
No, same fastball. I think it was just Marlon thought it was down.
Too close, Ron. That's needs. You want that, don't you?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Side view will give us a better view. Leg kick, strike.
That's a strike. So 1 out. And now Anthony Recker, the pinch hitter.
This is murder on the scorecards.
Hopefully he'll keep up. Breaking ball strike.
I have kept up.
Now we up tonight on Geico Sports Tonight after the post game. Jets quarterbacks, Yankees third baseman, and British Open. Geico Sports Night tonight after the post game. The British Open's no fun unless the weather's bad.
I love it when the weather's bad and they got to hit it down low, and it's just great.
chopper foul, 0-2.
The Scots say over there, nay wind, nay golf. So if there isn't wind and tough weather, then it really isn't British Open golf. We've had the same kind of summer over there, though, so everything is really burnt out and brown.
I don't know. We had enough rain this spring and summer. Everything should stay green forever. Record trying to inside out one, but Utley is there to play the one hopper, and that's the second out. So the Mets are down to their final out of the night. John Buck coming up. They've gone to the 9th in Chicago. Braves 5, White Sox 4. So if the Braves win that game, they'll be 6.5 up on the Phillies, 7 over the Nats, who lost tonight.
Did you ever see a team lose their outfield as quick as the Braves did in that, what was it, 3-game stretch?
Amazing, huh? Upton on the disabled list now, BJ. But they've got Evan Gattis back. And that certainly helps their cause. Buck is 2 for 4 tonight, a single and a double. And he grounds one to Rollins on the back end. And that'll do it. The Phillies build an 11-0 lead against Jeremy Hefner and the Mets bullpen, and they cruise to a 13-8 win in the first game after the All-Star break.
Well, it's really hard to overcome. It's 11-0 after 3 innings. Jeremy Hefner just did not have it tonight, and the Phillies came out of the break ready to swing the bats, and they did.
Well, a lot of positives offensively for the Mets here. David Wright, of course, hit the home run. Marlon Byrd continues his hitting, but 3 home runs from the Phillies. Dominic Brown, 24th. What a year he's having. Young hit a 3-run shot. So one to just turn the page on, get him tomorrow.
So the Phillies have beaten the Mets 7 of 10 this year, as they outscore them tonight 13-8. Tonight's Time Warner Cable game summary. Jeremy Hefner continues to have his problems with the Phillies. Knocked out after 2 innings plus tonight, allowing 8 runs on 10 hits, and that was plenty as the Phillies go on to win it 13-8. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture, proud to be the furniture store of the New York Mets. By the Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event, where you can drive away for practically just your signature. By Verizon, visit Mets.com/Verizon today for your chance to meet the Mets at Citi Field. By Budweiser, great times are waiting. Grab some buds. By Geico. And by Mazda, if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. Phillies win it in a slugfest 13-8 to take the opener of this 3-game series. Tomorrow, game 2 of the series on PIX 11. Zach Wheeler on the mound against Cole Hamels. Our coverage begins tomorrow at 1 o'clock on PIX 11. And then our next SNY telecast is on Monday night, when the Mets meet the Braves at 6. Now for Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez, Kevin Burkhardt, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Time for WB Mason post-game live. Let's join Chris Carlin and the 2 Bobbies in the studio. Guys, take it away.